Once again, my people, you know what it is, the Don Tony Tough Line. Feel the issues, guy. And it is almost time for From Season 2. And I am excited. Phil is excited. Everybody is excited to get this thing going on From Season 2. Phil, what is the deal with you, bro?
I am very excited. I can't believe it. It always seems like it's so far when you know these seasons are coming, but when you're right there, it's so exciting. These last 4 days, I just want to freeze myself and wake up when the episodes are here. But yeah, it's very freaking exciting. And so many people are catching up. They finally did what we wanted them to do, Tony, and put it on Amazon. So I know in these last couple of weeks, it's been so much easier to suggest this show to people. So I feel like it's spreading a little bit and excitement's building up and people are discovering how awesome this show is.
Let's give some shout outs to some people in the chat. Sophie City, I don't think I've seen you before. What up? What up? What up? She's in the building, rocker. Our girl, Carla Way from down under in Canada. What do we say? What do they say? Ahoy?
That's Australia.
Australia. I'll say Canada. God damn it. Australia, what do we say in Australia? Good day.
Good day.
Good day, mate. You don't call women mates, right? What's the women word for?
Lassie? Is that
Lassie?
I don't know. No, I'm kidding.
The hell is
Carla's yelling at me. Lassie. That's not.
Kay is in the building, and she is new. Love to see you, Kay. Thank you for rocking with us, Selena. Anyone for anything for Selena. Selena's up in here. Sonic, your boy is in the building rocking with us right now. Music Fancy is up in here rocking with Jackie C, as always, in here rocking with us. Anna is in here rocking with us. Big Daddy is on the block with us right now. You know, we got a lot of people up in here. Hit them thumbs up for you boys. We'll give some more shout outs in a little bit. All right, people keep Winner is up in here. ESO is up in the building rocking with us also.
I'm pretty sure half of Australia hates me right now. She's like, Lassie, Phil. What are you talking about?
Did you say Lassie?
Yeah, I think she's like, Lassie.
I don't know. We're not from there. We have no idea.
No, I'm kidding.
I think it's something with Lassie. I hear Ozzy Man say this. He's my Australian connection. I only get Australian nouns from Ozzy Man. That's it. Whatever he says, I say it. That's it. I said she was from Canada. I think that's what. All right. Let's go through. There's a lot of interesting things going on with From Season 2, and we're gonna try to go through some of these topics. You know what I mean? Again, this is a call-in live stream, so if you have a question or you have a comment or a theory, the number's on the crawl on the bottom. On the crawl on the bottom. 781-990-8509 is the number. Call in, and if you do not want to speak in there, you can also text message that number. Again, 781-990-8509. It is on the crawl in the bottom right there. All right, we don't have the thug mug today. We're drinking water because we're fasting. So, you know, we're getting in shape right now. We can't only thug mug only holds liquor. So I'm not allowed to do that and anything else. All right, let's get to certain things. Let's go through some stuff that we have to talk about in dealing with this season of From, things that we want to be, you know, sure about. And I have a picture, article that I thought was pretty interesting from the producers real quick. So we'll read through this and then we'll see if this says anything that can help us understand, decipher anything that's going on. John Griffin explains that the premise came from the question, and this is the premise of the whole show, from the question of what would happen if life as you know it was suddenly snatched away and your reality transformed into literal nightmare. What kind of person would you be? What kind of person would you become? And that idea was really at the heart of where the show first began, and everything kind of grew from that. So, Phil, when you hear that, does that make you think that this is just some type of test that's going on with these people?
Not necessarily. It really maybe a morality test of some sort, but bigger than just someone effing with people. I think, to me, that seems like it could be a description of Lost, which obviously Lost is about a lot more than just people being trapped on an island. And how much have you read any reviews of the season so far. There's been a couple of reviews of the first few episodes with no spoilers here. One thing they said is episode 1 really sets the standard for what this season's going to be, and it ups the game. So I think that's what that makes me think when you were reading that. I'm thinking, wow, I can't wait to see how they up this game and make the meaning of all of this probably even more. And each especially
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah, Emily Siegel, thank you for becoming a member. I promise you that the next time that we stream, and I'll do it this week, I just got caught up with work. I will have all the new emojis for the from. I have them done. I have the Boyd emoji. I have the smile monster emoji. I have the Pokemon emoji, and I'm gonna put them in there so that you guys, whoever becomes a member, will be able to use these emojis. I'm gonna get rid of a lot of my House of the Dragon emojis, and I'm gonna flood it with from stuff for you. All right, so I will have that done. So thank you for becoming a member. It truly helps the channel grow so much. And make sure you hit the thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. You know, I would say that the fact that that's where it came from, that was the general purpose. What if all these people were put in there, basically saying that they're being tested, right? What if they were put in there and they were being tested? How would that go?
Yeah.
And everything else. So I do think that's a big deal, and that's possible that could be one of the things, because he says the premise came from the question, what would happen if in life you were suddenly snatched away and your reality transformed into a literal nightmare? What kind of person would you be? What kind of person would you become? And the idea from that was the heart. So that's where the show first started, but it turned into something else.
Luna asked the question I was just about to bring up, and the question then becomes, what did they shift to who? You know, who asked those questions? Who set this situation up? And I don't know if we're going to get that who answer this season, but I do believe we will get it at some point in time. I think this season is going to be even more about establishing what and building that world, expanding what we've seen so far, and everything's going to feel more intense. At least that's my prediction for this season. We're not going to get a lot of huge reveals other than just see how things work even more, maybe be introduced to a few more hazards, so to speak.
Let me say, thank you for the super chat and the cash app. He says, this is $5. I hope it's for Howdy Doody. The Howdy Doody creature isn't killed this season. Thank you. Again, if you want to send a super chat and you want me to get the whole super chat, please send it in the cash app down there. If you can't do that and you want to just send it as a super chat in on YouTube, you can. Now, again, let's go on. Let's show a little bit more of this and keep reading, and then we'll piggyback off it when we see something else. All right. So executive producer Jeff Pinkerton, Pinker in there. I don't know.
Jeff we're gonna call him Pinky.
Yeah, Jeff Pinky. I think, as John said, the mythology is central to the show, of course. But really, I think, like all great genres, we are looking for an opportunity to tell a story about people.
Okay.
And everything else is really just designed to be either points, pressure points, or a gold. Either the thing you're afraid of or the thing you're hoping for, and the story takes place between those two poles.
That is awesome. To me, that just screams of this is a character piece first and foremost. And I think that's the most important thing that sometimes people forget in mystery box kind of shows. You got to really care about the characters, and the characters have to be fleshed out more. Tony, do you think we may see and I'm sorry I keep doing this for the people that know what I'm about to say, or what I'm suggesting here. Do you think we're going to see backstories of these characters? Do you think we're going to see flashes to their regular lives and see where they were before they got here in any situation, even a little bit? Or do you think they'll skip doing that altogether on the show?
Yeah, as we said before earlier, that we do believe that someone major has to die. And in order for someone major, when we mean major, when me and Phil said major, we're talking about the main kids, not the new people on the bus.
Nope.
They're not major. I'm talking about Donna. I'm talking about Fatima. I'm talking about Ellis.
Kenny.
I'm talking about Kenny. I'm talking about Kenny's woman that he can't get no ass from. You know, Kenny ain't getting no ass, man. He ain't getting no ass. You know, one of these people are gonna die this season. I think the reason why they had to die is because, as you said, they flesh out the story. So since they've done that for other characters, they showed Victor's backstory. They gave us that. They showed how Boyd got there. They did show how Donna got there. They hear her just tell the story. Did they show it, or she just told us? I think she just told the
I think
story.
she just told the story.
She told the story. So, you know, I think that's how you get to care about these people. So I think it's quite possible. Whose story?
Boyd.
It depends what it is, because you're going to have all these new arrivals there. So you're going to actually see again how people got there and how they dealt with it. I think the Boyd's fleshing out, showing his story, was to show you exactly how the town was before he got there. So it would have to be something interesting. Boyd's the one who found the talismans, and Boyd is the one who found the goats, and Boyd's the one who did all that. So it would have to be something that's happening in the town that we haven't seen explained yet, and that person was responsible for.
As usual, Tony, like that, just saying that I want to see that more. You're 100% correct, or at least that's what I would want to see. As much as I do want to flesh out these characters, I think if they constantly focus on how they were in the town and also focus on the town, I want to see the history of how what this place was like with other groups of people. See a little bit about the old time before the talismans were found. Were the talismans handed out at one point in time and then collected by the monsters and then brought out again? Or is this the first time the talismans have been found? Things like that might be interesting. But with Boyd, I wouldn't mind seeing some of his regular life, some of his special forces type stuff, seeing more with him and his wife. I think fleshing him out more deeply as a character would always service the show well, because he's such the main character. All the other characters count, and I think they'll get more stuff this season. I think some of those other characters you mentioned are going to become more main characters by the end of this season to balance that out, so it doesn't feel like season one feels like, you know, Boyd is the lead with the company. I think it's going to feel even more like a whole company this season, personally.
Yeah, so the new characters could come to replace the old ones. So because listen, it's only going to be certain people filling certain roles. So if you can move somebody into that role, like, all right, like we've talked about this, like on our death count that we think is going to die. Me and Phil believe that, and we hate to say because we love her. You know, we had her on the channel. We interviewed her. You can check that out. We love her to death. But we think number one is Donna's most likely to go.
It's hard. It's hard because Fatima's set up to take over Colony House.
Yes.
And Donna going would be one of the most emotional deaths that they could do other than Boyd. And Boyd's not going anywhere. I think if you made that list so you can see where her character could theoretically be not played by somebody else, but someone could move into that role in the town that Donna has, especially if she hands the keys to Colony House. And also it would emotionally hit as much. Tony, we do have our first text message. This is from area code 334. Thank you so much. If my man Kenny can't get no love, they need to pass him on to me. He needs a hug real bad. Oh, he got a Kenny lover in the live chat.
Kenny lover. Oh.
He's willing to give Kenny some love. 334.
Does that mean they're willing to give Kenny some ass?
If we meet Kenny, the character, not the actor.
It's the high waters, Kenny.
We'll make it
High
happen.
waters. Someone they got everything in that town. They ain't got no damn needle and thread. They can't just get those pants. Give me 2 more inches. May Kent says Sarah might die. I don't think Sarah dies. I think that Sarah's too important. She's the only one that the voices communicate with. So therefore, that's the Father Khatri almost gave his life for Sarah, basically. Right? He put everything on the line for Sarah because he knew she was connected to this place like nobody else is. So I cannot see, there's no way to kill her because there's no one that could take her place. There's no one else the place is talking to but her. So for that reason, I just can't see them killing Sarah. What do you think about that, Phil?
Yeah, for similar reasons, because she is a perfect tool to have an inside track on the monsters, or the creatures. So I also don't think Sarah is going anywhere. I think she's going to stick around for a while. We do have a couple more text messages. This is from area code 802. Says, do you think Ellis and Fatima will stay in Colony House if they get married. It's Emily, by the way. Do you think
I,
they'll stay there?
I think that's her spot. I think that they got their spot. Yes. I mean, listen, we see Fatima making out with other chicks and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I don't think all that stops. I think all that goes down if they get married. And I do think that they will get married. I think if listen, I think Ellis is he's could be a victim. Ellis can go.
He could be another one.
There's a lot of young people coming on this bus that could take Ellis's spot. Because we look at the importance of Ellis. What is his true importance in this show? We know that he has the emotional connection to Boyd. That's his son. And he's Fatima's boyfriend. Fatima can get a new boyfriend, so that doesn't hold any weight. And as for him being there with Boyd, if the people who are there, and you hear Jim say it, what if the point is to see how people react? If they really wanted to break Boyd to see how we react, it's to kill his son. You take all the family away from him, and then you break him there. So I think that Ellis is replaceable, and he's on the list.
Yeah, I was going to say a similar thing, that because of what you just said, because it's something that can hurt Boyd isn't going anywhere. And that would be the biggest surprise in the entire show, and I don't even know if I love it. Boyd is lasting till the final season, maybe the final scene. He might die at the end, but he's lasting all the way through this thing. I'd be very surprised. Harold Perrineau is not going anywhere. How else do you hurt him? It would make sense that by the end of all of this, as much as Ellis is his own character and he's going to have his own arc, just like Noah, he's going to have his own arc, but basically his best service is to be another pain for Boyd, another loss, since he can't go anywhere. So it's unfortunate. It may not be this season, Tony, but I do agree with you that I think, unfortunately, as much as I enjoy the character, he is going to be a tool to hurt Boyd at one point in time. He's the best way to hurt Boyd. Even killing Boyd doesn't hurt Boyd as much as killing that dude does, because then his whole family's gone. This place took his whole freaking family.
His whole family, And that's it. And listen, if they cast me, then Ellis has got to go, because there's only room for one muscular black man.
I saw the smile on your face. I wasn't sure what you thought about while I was talking. You just got a smirk halfway through. You're like, oh, I can't.
There's only room for one muscular black guy per show. That's the rule. Ellis got to go, baby. He got to go.
We're gonna make room for House Teflon.
I'm gonna have to whack him myself, goddammit.
Tony's gonna sneak in there. It's like, I'm one of the creatures. I'm not really. I'm a creature.
That's it. We got nothing but love.
We got a couple of more text messages from
everyone's texting. Why don't you just call in? But if you want to text, then go ahead.
Yeah, we got. It's funny. We got one text, then we got like 4 texts all at once. People are like, okay, text is a thing. We don't have to call.
You can text.
This is from area code 606. It was said that Jade was the cause of all of this. Tony had a video that check that out if you haven't watched it. A question I saw was, why do you think Jade and Toby only went through town once when Boyd and Kenny said to everyone, drive through multiple times? Because they were fucked up on drugs.
They crashed.
Yeah, they were fucked up on drugs, and they crashed into Jim's RV.
Yeah, they crashed off the road and they were fucked up. I mean, he couldn't drive anymore. He got out the car and threw up, and Jay was wiped out in the back seat on ecstasy.
Yeah, they were both, and they never said what was his name, what Toby was on, but he was on something too. They were both tripping.
It was definitely ecstasy, because he was saying how good looking everybody was.
Oh
Jay.
yeah, he was.
He's like, oh, you're beautiful. You're so beautiful. Well, yeah, that's ecstasy. I've seen ecstasy in action.
Yeah, but it was Molly ecstasy kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Code 207. Hello, Phil and Tony. What do you think about the upside down trees at the end of the season 2 trailer? I missed that, Tony.
I mean, upside. I don't remember the upside down tree. What are you talking about? What's the upside down tree?
No. Area code 207. Please expand on your question, or call on in and explain us in real time.
I haven't seen an upside down tree at the end of the tree.
Yeah, I was thinking of the Stranger Things. I couldn't get Stranger Things out of my head while I was reading that. And area code 573 says, hey guys, since you think that the blood sun will fall, How will you think Kenny will do as the new crown prince to rule the town? Do you?
Look, Kenny is on the chopping block too.
Yeah.
Because again, if as Jim said, this is what we're going. We're going by Jim's theory, and I did it in my last video. I used it. He said, "What if your point is to push people to their limits? What if that's the point of this place? How do you push Kenny to his limits? This is how you do it.
Yep.
Number one,
Dude.
you tell Kenny that Sarah killed is the reason his father died. Now
Yep.
listen, Kenny's got this whole thing going on where he's this happy-go-lucky guy. Listen, you might see a shift in Kenny's attitude really quick. You know what I mean? Listen, he's got a hold in the gun. Now, if Kenny tries to take Sarah out, will Boyd be forced to shoot him down?
Yeah, I mean,
he shot down his mother, like his wife.
Possibly. I mean, they've to your point, Tony, they've almost hinted at that. On my rewatch, one thing I forgot or kind of skipped over in the first time was Kenny's dark. Kenny goes through some shit and he gets there a little bit in the sense where you could imagine him being porn stashed. He could be influenced in some way, maybe not for that. We don't want to shit on the Kenny not getting any ass too far. But I just mean, to your point, he's faced some stuff. If his mother dies too, if Sarah somehow indirectly is the cause of his mother dying, he is going to kill Sarah. And Jade will probably help him. And how does Boyd react to something like that? Kenny might break bad. I mean, it would feel the strongest and it would be the biggest plot-wise of something you wouldn't really expect because, yeah, he has this, you feel like he's this really nice guy, but they did hint at some dark things in season 1 with him that I kind of forgot until I watched again.
Yeah, and they showed him covered in blood with an axe chopping down the tree.
Yep.
Right?
There's a whole episode around that focuses around him doing that at the beginning and the end of the episode.
So he loses his girlfriend, right? To this. Now all of a sudden he finds out that Sarah's the cause of his father's death. If his mom dies, Kenny gone.
Yeah.
Kenny's definitely Breaking Bad.
Breaking Bad.
That's it for Kenny.
Remy.
He may become an axe murderer and start killing people.
He's turning Private Pile Remy's type stuff, like.
Yes, he might, and he might have to take him out. He might have to get taken out. Boyd may have to be the trigger man, and take out Kenny, which would kill him, but he would do it. Listen, he took out his wife for his son. You know what I mean? So you can't think that you can't think he won't be able to do it. Don't think someone may run that. You know what I mean? When you see someone who's happy-go-lucky and everything else, those are the ones who break bad.
Yep.
And don't think that Kenny ain't got that possibility. All you gotta do is push him a little. All he has to do is find out see Sarah. He could flip out. You never know, right? It could just go down like that.
Absolutely. And it would feel the most if we're pushing all these characters to the limit, if we're going with this thing that this is a test, a challenge, putting Kenny to the test. It's the same thing, and it's challenging their family. We do have our first voicemail of the night. We actually had a voicemail from Sunday, last Sunday that we missed, I think, while you were when just randomly on Sunday evening we'll play as well. This is from area code 334 first.
Yeah. I just want to say that I think that
Wait a second.
that's a mistake, and
What was that?
Well, how the start going this way? When do we hear that at the start? I like that stuff. We have to chop that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a little. Oh yeah.
I just want to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I just want to say that I think
I like that.
that's a mistake, and
Tony,
y'all
I'm sorry. We'll do it one more time.
Yeah.
I love it. I love you got the ears of the producer. You got your like oh my god, you're like you're hearing it there. You're like play that back, play at the 2-second mark, loop that, and then drop a beat right there. Oh my, that's perfect, dude. That's fucking perfect. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Carla Wayne said.
I just want to say that I think that Fatima is a snake, and y'all just leave my man Kenny alone. But I feel like something really sketchy about her and the bartender.
The bartender and who?
Kenny's girl, I believe.
I don't know what is there to say. Now, the bartender, he's a little aloof, so I can understand that. But that girl's done nothing to make you think there's something weird about her at all. Me personally, I mean, she's done nothing but save people's lives. She seems to be dedicated at her stuff, and we see her girl coming back into town. Now, girl looks like a crackhead. I ain't gonna front. I mean, she looked like she's
And
on some shit. She looks like she's on some shit. The girl, I don't know. She doesn't even look like she should be with her. She looks like a chick. Now maybe she got strung out because this girl left her, but she definitely looked like some type of like she wants some thing and everything else. So I don't know. But as for leaving Kenny alone, no. We gonna stay on Kenny.
That was Selena, who's forgot to mention her name. Selena, thank you for calling in. We very much appreciate it.
Yeah, so Selena, anything for Selena.
And thank you. But we got the phone lines are open, so definitely calling in 781-990-8509. Should we go back to the article and see where this is?
Yes, let's go. Let's go to the article. We'll bring that back up. I gotta come over here so I can read.
Oh,
it.
she said, okay, wait, before we go farther, thank you, Selena. She said Fatima. Fatima is sketchy.
Well, you brought that up.
Yeah, I brought that up, and Selena obviously agrees
with you. So we'll talk about that as soon as we get done with this next part.
And we do also have another couple more text messages. Keep them coming. We'll catch up in a few moments. We'll keep bouncing back to the paragraphs, and then we'll get to your messages. So keep the calls and texts coming.
So Jack Bender said he was drawn to the project because he felt audience would be interested in thinking about what they would do if they were trapped in a similar situation. I think any great television has to do with who are the people we are watching in this place and time, and what if those people were us? What if? The what if of what if we were faced with horrifying obstacle course. See right there. Faced with the horrifying obstacle course that these people are when they are or on the road to somewhere else. Said that. Now, when you hear obstacle course, again, now I don't know if he's slipping or he just means it like that, but it makes me think that this is a game that he's playing. Why use the word obstacle course? I mean, I understand what he's saying. It's an obstacle course. You're trying to get through this stuff. You know what I mean? And it's an obstacle course, but you could have said something else when you said obstacle course. And it really makes me think that it's possible that this is just a test. It's a game. They're trying to play a game with these people. Now, who's playing a game? We don't know. Is it the aliens that are playing a game with them? Is it the government that's playing a game with them? Did the government capture some aliens and they're using their technology when experimenting on humans?
Yep.
Either way, aliens is evolved, goddamn it. I'm telling you that shit right now.
Tony's not eating that damn chip. And yes, I'm doggy sitting, so there's a dog barking at people outside right now, so I had to mute myself. But yeah, it's very interesting that they use the word obstacle course. Again, it seems like they're saying more it's some Romulan simulation. Someone, I think in the chat earlier, it was maybe in in the Facebook group or something, someone left a comment at some point that was, the more I hear about this, the more I think everyone's going to be sitting on beds in a circle with things attached to their heads. I don't think it's that far. I think they're really there. I don't think this is a simulation in their minds. But I do think the more time goes on, the more that was very specific. They get these questions ahead of time on things like this, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
He specifically wanted to use the word obstacle course.
Mm-hmm. Now, listen, you could say like, oh, they're overcoming obstacles. So that's what they do. Listen, he could have said something different. He said obstacle course for a reason.
That makes me think of goddamn Double Dare.
Yes.
And goddamn
Double Dare. I would have won that.
Dude, you and I should. We got to go back. We have to invent time travel so you and I can go back and win.
Because I think people were afraid to pick the nose. I would have threw my whole arm up that nose. I don't care. That flag would have came out in one thing. All right. Anyway,
we'll save that for the next After Dark.
Yes. All right. So, but yeah, it just makes me think that this escape room. I mean, Jade said it in the beginning. Usually, they give stuff away in the beginning. I do think that it's an experiment. I mean, if you watch my last video, I go through how I do believe it's an experiment. why it was experimented on and everything else. But I do believe that it could be a situation going on like that without a shadow of a doubt. That this
Yeah,
is just all one game.
and in normal shows, Tony, I would adopt what we were talking about last season with if they're going to say it, it might not be the thing, but it seems like they're saying everything. They're saying everything, so it's that poker thing where you act strong when you're weak, you act weak when you're strong. But if both people know that, that's where the game is, because you don't know if that person's pretending to be strong because they're really like opposite stuff. So just because they said it doesn't mean it couldn't be some sick escape room kind of situation set up by aliens or the government or rich assholes like Squid Game type thing.
Shorty Wawa said this better not be some type of Matrix shit. And then we got, CeeLo says, personally, I'd be okay with it being aliens, but I would love something else. See, this is what I understand about. Listen, it's going to be something. And everyone's always going to wonder, like, oh, I don't want it to be the Matrix. Oh, I don't want it to be aliens. Well, listen, it's going to be something. And usually it is one of these things. It's, if you want it to be, I understand a lot of people want to go with this Norse god mythology. And I'm not saying that it can't be. I don't know if it is or if it isn't, but it's going to be something. And there'll be people who see the Norse gods thing and they'll be like, I don't want it to be that. That's stupid. Everyone's going to have their own opinion of what they want it to be. But in the end, it's going to be what these writers want it to be.
100%.
And I think we just have to accept it. And that's it.
And beyond that, too, we talked about this a lot during Better Call Saul stuff. There's what we want it to be, and then there's what the writers and stuff do, and is it good? I think everybody loves predicting this is a show that really is awesome to be able to come here and talk about this, which is awesome. But I don't think anybody that's watching cares if they're right. They care if they get a good show. They care if it's done well. And that's all you want, Tony, right? That's like you don't give a real crap about eating that damn chip if the show is.
No, I'll eat it right here, guaranteed.
Yeah.
But I just, and when I come up with stuff, I just say that what the show is giving me. I'm not making it up. I'm looking at the show. I look at the hints in the show, and then I tell you the hints why I came to this conclusion when I make the video. It's not something I'm just making up and pulling out of my ass. This is the hints that I'm seeing, and I'm telling you. I've done a lot of these things before, especially with Game of Thrones. Usually, the easiest answer is the answer.
Yep.
That's usually the way it is. Usually isn't this whole technical thing. It's usually very simple and straightforward.
Exactly. It's Arkham Asylum's razor or something like that. We've got area code 573 of voicemail. Let's get to that.
Johnny, Phil, this is Steve from Missouri. I know it's Missouri. Let me have this one. But guys, quick question.
No, you're teaching us. You're teaching us how to pronounce it.
Because I did ask about whether or not we thought that Kenny would be able to handle his stuff once if Ellis was gone to, was gone and set up to die. But now that since we did mention in the article that there is an obstacle course type feel or whatever they're trying to make feel happen in the game, I'm sorry. Do you guys think that we're missing a militant faction? We've already got sort of a carefree faction, a survivor, make the world ready faction. We got the problem solvers, with our two intelligent friends there building radios and trying to figure out what's going on. But it makes you wonder, what idiot's going to come in and hunker down and try to conquer the new world they found themselves on? All right, guys. Thanks for talking.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Great call. And I want to piggyback on this to ask you a question, Tony. In Lost, they did this often where they would show you a different perspective. The Tailies came in with Ana Lucia, and it was like an intense, different vibe, a different personality coming into town. You've talked about this a lot. That's one of those things that they could really do awesome and just have one of these seasons be all about a crazy character coming into town and shaking up the balance, losing the stealing the talismans because we're supposed to be here hunting, like someone that gets into the hunt of it all. So I definitely think it's interesting. Do you think we're going to be introduced to some town members that don't fit so much into town. I mean, Jade kind of did that in the first season, but he adapted really quick. Are we going to see like, you know, in Boardwalk Empire when we had that season where Tommy Sister, whatever that character that came in for the whole season and just fucked shit up? Do you think we might see a character like that on this show at some point?
I think that, you know, there's always going to be, if we don't have them yet, there's always got to be some badass character that thinks they tough because they tough in real life or something and come into town and think they can bullshit. You know what I mean? You know, Boyd's he's getting up there in age, so there could be some young cat in there that thinks that he, you know, he should be the leader. They should follow him, and he could get his own clique behind him, and they could follow him. You know, if I had to pick from the people that we've seen, it would be the bootleg Chris Evans.
Yeah,
you know, he looks like that type of guy. You know what I mean?
Bootleg Chris Evans.
I don't know his name yet.
Find him on the street. I'll take one of those bootleg Chris Evans.
I don't know his name yet. Goddamn it!
So that works. That works. I was gonna call him poor man's Chris Evans, but that's much better. Area code 207. Someone said they sent me a screenshot. This is a screenshot of the end of the season 1 trailer. Okay, basically what it is, Tony. I can send a picture and send it to you, but it's the MGM logo with all the trees hanging up upside down. I think
they show that. Don't they show that already? Like they show from top view.
Yeah, let me send it to you so you can see.
All right,
give me a second.
All right, and when you do that, look, we're gonna FOA. It says there's multiple alien races, the monsters and the children and the white that can be out during the day. So again, so we're looking at the children. So if you're talking about the one that's behind me in my photo, I think that they're in this chick's head because when you see the children when she's walking with her daughter out of the barn, it zooms in right on Tabitha's face and then shows the children. Julie and she didn't freak out right after that. Then it goes right back to her. Julie would have started fucking screaming. And the actresses are good at that, Julie. She's very good at displaying that emotion. You've seen her when she's done it multiple times.
She would be good in a straight horror movie as like a Scream kind of character. Like,
yeah, she's really good at that. So that's why I don't think that they're out in the day. I think they're inside of her head. I can't see them there because it makes no sense. Because why didn't they show the daughter react? They show it's the same scene. They show her, they show the kids, it zooms into her eyes, and then it shows her again. So it shows her, then it shows the kids, then it zooms in on her. So it's definitely, I think it's only her there.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I think Tabitha also is having vision. She's getting closer. She's in a different sort of connection. Area code 323 asks a couple questions. Any thoughts on why Victor didn't want to talk to Ethan, how he arrived there, or about his parents? I think the thing with Victor is he just has such a childlike way about him. He interacts with Ethan like two kids would interact, and two kids don't really tell their stories like that. I think at least Victor to me comes across as that like Arrested Development kind of, like he's just a child. He's at the same maturity level as Ethan. And his youthfulness, his childlikeness has allowed him to survive in this world a little bit.
Yeah, I think that Ethan might be even more mature than Victor.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, you're right.
You're right. Victor is just playing with crayons, eating pizzas, man. You know what I mean? That's it. Drawing people when they're sleeping and stuff. So I think he might be a little bit more mature than him. All right, let's go back to that. Yep. To the article, and then we'll get some. Then we'll come back to
we will get to all your texts and voicemails tonight. So feel free to keep on calling in and keep leaving.
Right. It says Bender was also intrigued by the idea that these monsters look human. They're not what you always see. They seem to be these lovely people who seduce you and bring you in, and the moment they hook you, it's not good. And the thought that a very fresh approach to. And we will work very hard together to figure out what those monsters would look, sound like, and be like, said Bender. And then he says, and speaking of the nightmare creatures, Catalina Sandino believes the creatures look human, make their actions more terrifying.
Wait. The nightmare creature, we know that
You
What
said
is-
this says creatures with an S.
Okay, so but we know that one of the that we've seen in the descriptions that a nightmare creature. Period. This is we're in a Night King, Night's King situation again, Tony.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
Sorry to
Yeah.
interrupt you, sir.
No. It says that they're just normal people walking towards you. That's what makes it even scarier, and you don't know what they can do. They're just regular people that come out at night. So we do here say nightmare creatures. So when they say, are they referring to all the creatures are nightmare creatures?
Right. So by that definition, is it not specifically what I was saying? Maybe it's a creature that gets into people's minds, like the one that does the fucking with people's minds. Maybe they just refer to all of them as the nightmare creatures. And when they say they've caught one or potentially killed one, it just means they killed one of them. Like whether it's the milkman, maybe they killed a milkman and he is a nightmare creature. Is that how you read it?
It could be. It could be. I think maybe they use it in that description because they don't want to give away which one they killed.
Yes, fair, absolutely. And then that's why it's not a spoil. It makes more sense that they would release that than a newly.
They say when the Smile Monster creature dies, they said that, then you would know they killed Smile Monster.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So maybe that's the reason why they said.
Tony, I want to get to what FOA Family says. I believe the factor that you cannot leave the village is not meant for the humans. It's so that the monsters can't get out and the humans are being led to the village to aid someone else being trapped there. And I'm going to add possibly the boy in white. So could the boy in white, I'm going to add to your thing, FOA, possibly be bringing people there to protect for the monsters, and the seal on the town is more to keep the monsters in,
just to feed the monsters so they don't leave,
or to try to battle them, to try to figure it out, to bring more people to try to solve, however, to kill all the monsters. And that's why he's bringing finally Boyd here. Might be the right one, and Ethan might be the right one to kind of get this done. And I'm not saying it's the boy in white, definitely. I'm saying some entity is. The monsters are the one that are trapped there and the humans are being brought in. And I know I'm hijacking your point, FOA, and kind of bringing this to Tony, but something to that effect, something in that way of that the town is more of a seal to keep this evil in.
It could be a situation. You see the picture with Victor with the dome there, right? Where everything was domed in and stuff. So I can't say that wouldn't be the case. You know what I mean? Again, as was Azir saying, Jasmine said we didn't ask to be this way. I think that the creatures could be just humans that got experimented on, these creatures, and now they're stuck in this form.
Yeah.
Again, they could be robots too, for all we know. Listen, there's no proof that they're eating these people at all. I mean, only thing you see is blood on their mouth, but we don't see them actually eat them. Like when we see zombies, they show the zombies grab the flesh and swallow down and chew on the shit in there. We have not seen that with these monsters. All we have seen is robots. All we've seen is organs taken out of the body every time. Just the organs are missing. They could just be harvesting organs for people.
And Tony, I don't want to play Charlie overanalyzer here, but I'm going to do it anyway. When we had the Smiley Monster on, definitely check that out if you haven't checked it out already.
Yes.
You asked specifically about the eating question, and he clamped right up. He was like, "No, I don't notice that. We're not doing
it." He would not give an answer.
We're not doing anything.
I mean, that's a quick, easy answer that we asked him. I said, "Listen, are these monsters eating these?"
He's
people?
like,
No. I'd rather the people find out and watch for themselves.
Yeah, like so. That's a little hinky. That was a little.
And he said, if some of the monsters are eating them or some of them aren't. I think he said that. I think
something like that. Definitely go back and check that out. Another question from 323, Tony. The vision of the soldiers hanging from the tree, were they all black? Does the Civil War have any significance to this place? Do you think the Civil War has any significance?
I think it does. But let me just finish this monster situation going on here because people ask. Emily's saying that the monsters have to survive. They probably have to eat people. When did we see the monsters eat anybody? When we have we seen it at all?
Out
of all this stuff that we've seen, When you see the bodies that are laid out there, what do we see? The only thing we see is the rib cage open and all the organs are gone.
Could
And
this?
it's nighttime. They could just be harvesting the organs.
I was just about to say that. Could this just be an organ harvest?
It could be. They could, because we don't see them eat them. We just see them rip them open. They're all ripped open, and the organs are gone. You know what I mean? Although FOA says, although she ate his tongue and spit it out, she didn't eat the tongue. She just bit it off and spit it on the floor.
Yeah, and then she got pissed that the blood was on her.
Then she was really upset that the blood was on her. She was trying to wipe the blood off her.
Yeah,
Like she was mad that it dirtied her clothes.
Yeah, they don't have.
She just bit it out. She didn't chew on that tongue. She took it and immediately spit it on the floor and then attacked him. So if it was all about food, the tongue would have been good to eat.
Yep.
Right? But she didn't want to eat it. She didn't want that part of it. So we truly don't know if these monsters are actually eating them or if they're just harvesting organs from these people. Because it could be a possibility that that's going on.
This is from area code 606. Someone mentioned in the Facebook group, and it got me thinking, on the side of the ambulances, Troy, Troy. What does Troy stand for? I know it's some sort of Easter egg. It's probably like the writers' names or something, a bunch of writers, or like just a personal thing. Usually that's the case in situations like this. 606 also says, if Tony or Phil get a role on From, there won't just be one smile monster on the show. That's true. I'll be a smiling snap ahead all over that time.
It could mean they reminisce over you.
Yeah.
It could mean that.
And we do have one more voicemail from area code 630. This is a little longer, so Tony, stop me when you need to. Area code 630.
Hi, Phil. Hi, Tony. This is T-Bill, 630 area code. I wanted to talk about Jade. And by the way, Tony, I've watched all your From videos. I really appreciate the series. I really like to, I've really been thinking the series out, and I love the different theories. So keep it up. I wanted to talk about Jade and Tabitha. Tabitha found a bracelet in the storage area. Now, this bracelet was lost in a hospital when Julie was born. That's a long time ago. So I'm just thinking, what is the connection? And one thing I did notice is that when Jade was going into the tavern, he was throwing out. He said,
"Let's sit you right there, real quick." All right. So the logical answer is that somebody from the hospital found it and then got trapped in there and left it. Right?
Yeah.
That's the logical one. If you want to logically think of how did that bracelet get there, she lost it in the hospital. Someone from that hospital found that bracelet in there and got caught up in the same shit and took it there and dropped it off there. That would be the logical answer.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're probably not. Now, listen, again, if you're dealing with harvesting of organs, right? and
the aliens are harvesting the organs. I'm with you on this one. I'm with you. This seems very probable.
It could be an organ harvest that they're doing for certain people or certain blood types.
I'm going down that rabbit hole with you
with certain things, It could be that's how they found out what her blood type was and why they need the Matthews family in there. It could be that's how they got selected. It could be people in the hospital. We got to figure out who was in the hospital. If everybody was in the hospital at everyone had to be in the hospital at some point, right? But if everyone was in some type of hospital situation of note, could it be someone linked to the hospital? Like, all right, we need this person with this blood type, bring them in. We need this person with this blood type, bring them in. We need to do this test on this blood, bring that person in. We do it. So it could be easily found like that. So the most logical answer is that the person in the hospital found that they could have brought it there. Now, you also have 3D machine printings, right? And everything else. And if you're dealing with some type of wormhole situation, it could have just been a whole different situation going on there. So there's different ways to explain it. Why it would be there, But the importance of it is what, that this is the first date that he gave it to him, and it was the exact same one because it was there, and it was there before she got there. So somehow something connected to them was there before them. They got there. So could there be a connection to Boyd somehow with someone? Is everybody connected to these people that were already there? Could it be like a lineage thing situation there? You know what I mean? Like someone ancestor of Boyd was in there. Or maybe what if the Civil War guy was an ancestor of Boyd and he was in there? Some ancestor of Kenny and their family was in there. And that's how they get in there. It's just going through the lineage, the line of these people and stuff. So, and it could be anything, but that's the way I would look at it. Just right off the bat. It's really, I can't give you so much. Who's trolling in there?
Oh no! So someone's saying you and I haven't got any ass. We're like Kenny in years, and it's true.
Tiny. You didn't get to spell my name right, man.
Yeah, I mean it was a typo. They slipped because
Let troll. Let
they were excited.
Let that motherfucker troll.
They were excited, and they did the typo in the troll. It's tough when there's a typo in the troll.
You gotta do it right, man.
Yeah, you have one shot at that, dude. Like, get it right.
It. If you don't get it right next time, you're gonna get put in the box. All right,
we gotta put him in the box. Yeah, we definitely gotta.
All the mods, look at this dude. If he gets out of line, put him in the box.
but it's not even quit trolling, but like troll properly. Like check your math before you hit the send.
Listen, I could take a joke as good as anyone, so I'm fine.
That would have been okay if you said Tony.
You know what I mean? So I'm fine with that anyway. You know what I mean?
You're getting moderated because of the typo, not because of the comment.
Yeah. So I'm fine with quiet loud. I mean, the name is just quite loud. Oh, maybe he just wants some attention.
Yeah, we love you too, Quite. We love you too.
Yeah. I know you want to be a part of the show that bad, so keep going.
He's part of the town too. Let's bring him in the town too. He's welcome.
Yeah, you always gotta have.
I'll pass you the smoking thing in Colony House. It's all
there. You go. There you go. There you go. All right, let's go. Let's keep going on.
Okay, let's continue the voicemail. And you guys in the live chat are killing it. Thank you so much. Keep it coming and keep the fun coming. And I do think it's going to be interesting as we see. I think that's a season 3 stuff, but I do think we're going to see more backstory on how this all started in different ages of this town. But anyways, let's continue with the message.
And he was throwing out different people who had different paradox time type paradox. And he mentioned Klein, he mentioned Hardy, he mentioned Einstein. And one paradox that does exist is the theory of the bootstrap paradox. And if you look up bootstrap paradox examples, one example they gave is if a time traveler goes back in time and meets Einstein. And he explains the theory of relativity to Einstein. And then Einstein, he does this theory, and so the causation and effect kind of cancels itself out. And I think that's what's going on in the town, like the perfectly timed light flickering, the radio, and even Sarah's arm, and what they told her. All this stuff, it seems like they're trying to give themselves messages back in the past, or from the future, or whatever the case. Let me know what you think. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, so I think that dealing with the people that are talking to Sarah, they're captured there too, as they said. I think that is real. You know what I mean? I think that 100% when they're telling Sarah, all the things they're telling her are the truth. So when they said they've been captured there and they want to go home, those people that are talking to Sarah could be aliens. They could be locked up aliens that got caught by human beings that are doing experiments on them, and they're trying to get home too. And the only way they can communicate, and they said to Sarah, "You're the first person we've been able to communicate with." So that's why they've been sending her this. So they haven't been able to communicate with anyone but Sarah. Sarah's the first one out of all the people that've been there Sarah's the first one they've been able to communicate with. They're probably the same people that are turning on the music, trying to give clues to people to get out because it can
Yep.
help them escape too. Just like in again the movie Interstellar.
Yep.
When the main character
His
leaves,
daughter sending messages through
Yeah.
the music, right?
exactly, but when she leaves the planet because the planet was in such disarray. But the fact that he left the planet is what caused the planet to be in disarray. So him going there is what caused the planet to become in that prediction, but that's the reason why he left. And then when he left and he got there to the fourth dimension, that's when he was able to use Morse code to communicate with his daughter to give her the key to how to save the planet in the end. Right? And that's what he did. So it could be the exact same situation when dealing with here. And that paradox you talk about is exactly that.
And absolutely, I think the music in the diner is definitely a major clue to something. Someone's cueing that music, as Emily was saying in the live chat. And Emily also says, I rewatched the whole series for a third time and realized Donna said everyone sees the trees and the birds, but I don't think Jade and Toby ever saw a tree. Valerian says this show's totally underrated. But I wanted to ask you FOA's question. What are the ideas and concepts of the lighthouse? What do you think's up with the lighthouse? Does it serve a purpose? Is it there to help get people out of there and find there? What are some of your thoughts on that lighthouse?
I don't really have too much to say about the lighthouse because I want to ruin the video. But I will say that, we see the lighthouse in the drawings in the cave, and we see boats in the cave. Again, as was said before in the chat last week, I could easily see that before there were cars, that they trapped people on boats.
Yep.
And they used the lighthouse to lure people into the town from back then.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's actually really probably it. It was used when people weren't necessarily driving on road trips and they were on the water, and it was a way of attracting ships into that area, into like a Bermuda Triangle kind of situation, and never getting out. Kill Your Ego is in the live chat. Great to see Kill Your Ego, who is doing amazing here on YouTube as well, and checks out longtime listener over of both of us, Tony. Jade was seeing a different type of tree and smoking it along with LSD. I could definitely see us getting a Jade tripping episode. He finds mushrooms in the woods and trips. I think we may see another, or he has drugs on him. I think Jade will continue to have a few fucked up Jade moments in the season. They may trope ass Jade in the sense that he's fucked up for most of the season. At the end of the season, gets his shit together to help out in some big mission of some sort because he is the most capable. And I think would also be the most dangerous if he went on the opposite side. And I don't want to jump into the descriptions, Tony, but is Jade dangerous? Is Jade a dangerous person if he's on the wrong side of things in this town to cause damage, so to speak? Because he's very capable.
I'm trying to see someone's putting this.
I'll get to a couple of chats while you're looking something up. Anybody knows the village has some major drama or crime in the past? It definitely does. There's some shit that's happened in this town. R.N. Smith says, how long have people been in the town? We don't know the long terms, but we do know that some of the people have said that we've been in this town 9 months or blah, blah, blah. And we've seen in the bottles in the woods, dates all the way back to 1800s and stuff. So this town has been around for a long ass time. Obviously the Civil War stuff as well. So
yeah, definitely that, because we've seen also carved into behind Tabitha's head the dates, and the dates are back. And in my last video, I put every time that date does happen, that there is a big event, whether it's dealing with electrical current or dealing with astronomy, on every one of those dates.
Tony, I have a stupid question. In the episode where Boyd and Sarah are in the tent and the light shines on them, is that the lighthouse?
It doesn't make sense that it's the lighthouse. I mean, I know everyone wants us to think
it doesn't, right? It's in the middle.
It doesn't, because when you see them, they have to climb up a hill to get to the lighthouse. When Boyd's soaking wet, right? He's soaking wet and he's down there and he doesn't want to go on. Right before he gets in the faraway tree, They have to climb up a hill to get towards the lighthouse. They were down in the valley. The lighthouse, the light goes straight. It doesn't go downward like that. There'd be no way that light could shine down on that angle and light them up like that. It doesn't make any sense for it to be. You'd have to be right up on it the way that lighthouse was shooting right across. There's no way it's going to shoot down unless someone shine that light directly down.
Unless it's the eye of Sauron or something.
Yeah, and it's looking right at them, and they put it right down on the
focusing on it.
That would be the only way I could see it being done. But it doesn't seem like it was a light.
And I got to say, this is really awesome. This show is underrated. Not a lot of people know about it. And we still have over 100 people here checking this out, watching this live with us. Make sure if you haven't already, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to this channel to follow all the From stuff. I'll be talking about some From as well, but this is the hub for From coverage all season long. Make sure you check that out. And if you haven't already, join us all season for these kind of discussions. We're going to be on Wednesday nights, midweeks, all season long, as well as somewhere on Sundays on both of our channels. We're not sure how that's going to work quite yet, but we will both be on Sundays talking about From, but also Wednesdays all season long. I hope you guys join us the whole time.
All right, let's go Kizzy Cap. All right, this is my daughter's nickname, Kizzy. So we're going to go as Phil as the resident from, a Lost expert. Let's go.
I don't know about expert, but okay, let's go.
We'll take this right now. I don't believe that this is alien related. It's purgatory. Gotta follow the Lost aspect in mind. I love Lost, and this seems to be was to fix Lost's problem. So it wasn't a purgatory thing in Lost. Would a writer do the exact same thing and just try to fix it, but do the same exact story in his next gig?
I don't think they would do the same exact thing. And the purgatory thing isn't necessarily purgatory, but in a sense, the whole Lost thing is. And again, people can correct me if I'm wrong. I might get some Lost haters like, you don't understand it. But at the end, the island in the sideways that we get towards the end was a time where they can all hang out in while they wait for each other to die, so they can all go to the afterlife together. So it is sort of like a place where they all hung out temporarily, but the island itself wasn't that. That's where, like, the island itself, most of the stuff we saw wasn't purgatory. It was I believe it was the Flash sideways, and people can correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't think this is a purgatory. I don't. I do think they're going to take elements of Lost, and I do think they do take elements of Lost, but I don't think this has anything to do with life or death or afterlife or waiting to die kind of stuff. I would be very surprised if they go to that well again and try to improve it. I think by improving it, they mean having a plan going in. Lost didn't have a plan. The show got picked up. They had to think on their feet. They just had the basic concept of it, and they had to make shit up as they went along. That's what, and I like Lost. And I think and I don't hate the ending like most people do. I think it ends pretty good. It's not perfect, but it ends pretty good. It doesn't answer all the questions, but it's all right. But I think what they were doing, Tony, is making it up as they go. I think this show, they have a plan. It feels like they have a plan, that they know all of this and they're just shelling it out to us as they go. And I think that's the improving from Lost, actually going in there with a Bible of the show, with understanding what this world is and not making it as you go, and focusing on the characters and developing these characters and actually making sense of it. So I think the Lost comparisons are great, and Lost was a great show that a lot of people loved. So that's a great comparison every time it gets compared to it. But I think when you talk about making it better than Lost, it's just having a plan and not being as all over the place as Lost is sometimes, because they're trying a lot of shit to see what sticks.
And also, when you deal with these type of mystery type situations, even when you go with Mayor of Easttown or anyone you want to go on, the stuff we covered on this channel, they know when they write this show what questions audience members are going to think of because they wrote the show.
They should.
So they could know that, people are going to automatically think that that they died and this is hell. So let's dispel that rumor so that they can move on from that and go to something else. They had the character Tabitha go right to Father Khatri and ask him directly, did we die? Did we survive the accident? And he said, You're not the first person to ask this question. Now, that's tongue in cheek because they knew that that's what the audience
Yep.
would say, and they're telling you, and he says, no,
They did
that's
this-
not the case. I've had time to practice this answer. They put that in there specifically because they knew that the audience would think that they had died and that was what it was going to be. And they wanted to get that out of your head so that you know that's not the case, to move on to something else and start a new theory.
Same thing with escape rooms and stuff. Good take. Tony says, everybody, if you're not from USA and you can't call or text our number and you want to leave us a voice clip, you can email me and I put it in the live chat. I'll get a WhatsApp number or some stuff set up soon so we can get some international situations, but you can always email me a voice clip at theissuesguy@gmail.com or igotissuesman@gmail.com. I'll put that stuff in the chat because someone in the live chat said, be kind to the international people that might call in. So we do want to, so if you guys can leave voice clips to email, record a voice clip.
Maybe that's why Carla never calls in because it's international. Maybe she'll do that.
Yeah, Carl could do that as well.
There was a way to set up a Discord to it.
I also have a Discord group and I have it connected on my computer. So if people wanted to pop in my Discord, they can. Maybe I'll make a from group so people can jump in that to call in.
I know you can call in on Discord too.
Yeah,
right?
I have a voice line there. Yeah, that people can call in as well. So we'll get that stuff. FOA says we need a WhatsApp number. I'll work on getting an international option so people can call in. But we do for now have the voice at 916.
Yes.
Hello, Tony and Phil. This is the voice at 916. I love this show. It's so intriguing. The rabbit holes go deeper and deeper and deeper. And
Whoa.
Wait a second.
She's just fucking with us now, right, Tony?
We're gonna have to clip it, baby. Clip it.
Tony and Phil, this is the voice
Oh
at
my
916. I love this show. It's so intriguing. The rabbit holes go deeper and deeper and deeper. And
oh my God.
and
Woo! That's what I feel.
I love this show. It's so intriguing. The rabbit holes go deeper and deeper and deeper. And
oh my God.
oh
my God.
Couple of thoughts and questions. What if at one time aliens came to this area where they are, and they it's confusing. They came to the area, and when they established themselves, they were in a really large area. And as time has gone on, the area that they are able to control has degraded. And as shown by the faraway trees, which may be the parameter, that's why the faraway trees are moving in closer and closer, pushing not only the aliens, but the monsters, the spiders, and the humans in closer proximity to each other. Is that a possibility? And
it's definitely a possibility. I definitely think that is there, and there's still a bit more of the message that we'll play in a second, but I definitely think you might be onto something in some ways in that message.
Definitely could be, it could be an intergalactical battle.
Yep.
I really think that when it comes down to it, I'm telling you what's going to happen is that it's going to be the wormhole is going to be what it is. And I'm telling you that the human beings went through this fucking wormhole. It's going to be due to Jade's company. It's going to be that technology that started this whole situation, and they're trying to wipe this whole thing out. And they've been going backwards. And it's either one of two things. Either the humans figured it out and they've captured aliens and the aliens are captured, or which I think, again, that's a really good possibility because human beings always, in all these shows, humans are always the bad guys when it comes to stuff like that. Whether it's Avatar or anything else like that, it's always a chance like that. And that's why they said they've been the creatures, whoever's talking to Sarah said they've been there for a very long time and they want to go home too. What's home to them? Home could be outer space. It could be like E.T. go home situation, right? because we always see, like, whether it's E.T. or any movie like that, the humans want to capture aliens and experiment on them and dissect them and experiment on them. That's what they're looking to do. So it could be one big Roswell situation like that going on here.
Now, Teflon is like Khal Drogo. He'll take on all challenges. So asks, why would an intergalactic battle look anything like we've seen on From?
Why would an intergalactic look anything like? Because it would be the form of, we've seen it in the Skrull Creed War, right? When they did that and it trickled over into Earth in the comic books, right? And it become that. So it could be a situation where one side has captured the other side and they're trying to get stuff out of them, and this is the way they're doing it. So anything is possible, anything is plausible, but it could be a situation like that.
Well, I don't know if that's a compliment, Lady Fairchild, but I'll take it. Phil, you look exactly like my
let's put that up there.
My brother-in-law from 1974. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yes, without a shadow of a doubt.
Is he a nice guy? I mean, whatever. And what the Hebrew letter for Yod reversed is on the talisman from ancient Hebrew, and there were 12 tribes of the children Jacob. Okay, there's this whole thing that's been out there about 12. I don't know if that's in the article, and we're going to get to that. But there's 12 talismans. Tony, do you think there's any significance to there being just 12?
Yeah. Well, the lady who came up with that theory was supposed to come on this channel.
Oh, is that who you were going to do the Sunday stream with?
Yeah. So the one who came up, she puts all this stuff she's written these theories, and she's putting them up on the Facebook group and everything else. She's the one who put that up. Who's talked about the 12 tribes. Now, if you're saying that there's an interview with this guy and he said it, Pinker, unless she read that from him first, she's the first one that I've seen say anything about these 12 tribes of Israel. Now, I did a video about the Hebrew looking like the markings look like the Hebrew, right? Yeah. And I put that up there and everything else. So from what he said in the interview, I wish I had the interview. If we had the interview, we play it right now. If anyone knows where that clip is on YouTube, send us the clip on YouTube of this interview, and we'll play the
definitely
audio right now.
Tony, I want to send some love to LMR, who's in the live chat right now. So nice to catch you and Tony live, Phil. It's been a long day at work, so nice to catch. We hope that you are joining us. I'm here like because I was watching YouTube talk about From. So I hope that you pop in and join us many times this season, LMR, because it's always better when you're around as well. So
look, people are asking, when will you be joining the live?
Exactly, LMR, pop on right now. If you're at the end of the day at work, the best way to happen, we have probably about 45 minutes left. Join us for the final 45 minutes if you want.
Yes,
I know you won't because you're crazy busy and stuff, but I just wanted to make sure
you can do it. Just
tell us you want to join, and Tony will send you the link.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Join
us. Sorry, Tony.
And Red Lipstick Club is in the building, Rocky.
Oh, the wonderful Anna, who's amazing.
We'll have to have Anna on the chat too, since she's watching the show.
100%. We'll definitely have Anna on to talk. Our After Dark co-host and one of the funniest, wittiest humans I know. Anna is great on the mic, and I always love when we get to have Anna on a podcast as well. I'm actually commuting and still doing work emails. Oh, it's all good. As long as you promise to join us at some point during the season, because I miss you and we got to rock on some streams about From this season. We definitely understand, but you better join us, LMR. You better join us this season, at least a couple times. Tony, we do have some voicemails and texts whenever you're ready.
Let's go. Let's get to them.
Okay, let's get to a couple of these texts first before we get to our voicemail. Area code 334. This is Selena. I just want to say, is anyone scratching their head like I am on how Sarah left the hospital unscathed that night the monsters came? Yeah, the monsters I know she's being talked to. The monsters, they just like give her a pass because they know she's on their team.
No, they could have guided her. The voices, go this way, and you'll be safe.
Yeah.
Go through here and you'll be safe. If they're looking down at everything and they were able to see Father Khatri bury that means they have a sky view of everything. So they could just direct it. Hey, the monster's over here. Go left here. Stop. Pause. 1, 2, 3, go forward. You know what I mean? They could have did that and everything else. Again, these monsters aren't running. So all you gotta do, you can get away from them easy if you're going down the block. We don't know how far House was from there.
And you're right, they don't really run. They just sort of stroll behind them a little bit.
Yeah,
And
they're not running at all. They're just walking slow. That's why these monsters would never catch me. I'm gonna be honest. They never catch me. Because I just sprint away from them, go, and then when they came up, I'd sprint again. And then just talk shit to them like, you dumb motherfucker, you can't catch me. When they got close again, I sprint to get her.
fast. They can't catch me. I'm the gingerbread man, motherfucker.
I would just fuck around with these dudes, man. I throw a Molotov cocktail at them. That's what I'm saying. So we talked about some guy going crazy, and that bootleg Chris Evans could be. You need a guy like that. You need a Rambo-esque motherfucker who's like, you know what? Fuck these monsters. We're kicking the shit out of these monsters. Get behind me. Let's fuck them up. You gotta start trying stuff. You can't just cower and hide for the rest of your lives. It comes a point where you gotta fight back. And some of you may die. Yes, of course. But the majority are going to live. So I think if they do have a guy who's willing to go that extra mile and is like, you know what? Fuck this bullshit. Let's try to kill these motherfuckers. Let's throw some Molotov cocktails. Let's see if they burn. Let's put an explosive up their asshole. Let's figure something out. Figure it out. Let's put a body out there and put a bomb in the body. When they're grabbing it, it blows them up. Let's figure out how to stop these motherfuckers instead of running all the time.
That's what they do with Freddie and Jason. Just stop at anything. Area code 573 says, Tony and Phil, I figured it all out. It's the group Houdini who is doing this whole thing. You see, they warned us in the 80s. They told us that the freaks come out at night. For real, though. The music in the show might be part of the sponsor type situation from those who are controlling everything. You hinted at it a little bit earlier. I think we both think, I'm not even going to ask you the dumbass question. I think we both think that the music has something to do with it.
They do. And I love the Freaks Come Out at Night song. It's a great song.
Great song.
But they weren't talking about those type of freaks. They were talking about the prostitutes on 42nd Street. That's what the song was based around. It was. That's what the song was based around. It was based on that. So they were talking about a different type of freak right there. So I love the song, but I understand what you're saying, and I like the joke, and I'm with you on that. But yeah, they were talking about some different type. They were talking about the porn stash girl freaks and everything else like that one, that the tongue bites you out freak.
This is area code 310. Hey, big fans of you guys. I just want to see if you guys notice that the monster aliens can. I just want to see if you guys notice that the monster / aliens can fly or levitate. Question. Porn stash and the little girl both were on the second floors. Do you think the monster aliens can levitate or they climb?
I think they climb. I don't think that we've seen them fly yet and everything else. And I'm from Queens, New York. I've
climbed up in some. I've jumped in some girls' windows.
Yeah, I haven't seen, because I know why they're saying it. They're saying that the grandma monster was on the second floor.
Yeah, and she seemed to be floaty-ish kind of thing.
She did, and I would not. And then this chick, when he let her in, but there was an awning outside that window that she could have climbed up on. When they were on top of the RV, it seemed like they climbed up to get to the top of the RV.
Oh, wow. His name is Kevin? I never knew that. I never knew Porn Stash's name because I always just called him Porn Stash. His name is Kevin. So it's like Porn Stash, the girl is Kevin and Jasmine.
Listen, his name is Porn Stash, and that's it.
His mama name is Porn Stash. I'm going to call him Porn Stash.
I understand why they would say the grandmother chick, because this is what you're thinking, though. You got to understand that she seems like she's she seems that she's old, or she can't do it. Phil, do you see the Emily?
Yes, I do. Right? Let's see if I can play this right here. I don't want to get a stricken here. Right now, it's the clip. So,
yeah. It was just the audio from them. We shouldn't get stricken. Yeah, she did seem to be standing on. I know when you look at her and she's old, you're like, how'd that old woman get her ass up there? But they ain't old like that on the real. You know what I mean? So she could get her crusty ass up on that roof. You know, pretty easy.
Oh, there it
Yeah.
is. Okay.
So we're trying to listen to the interview with this guy talking about the talismans and everything else. Thanks to everybody for stopping in here. We're over 117 people up in here rocking with us. Hopefully, get more. You know, you can catch us out here twice a week. It's maybe more. Maybe we'll do longer when the season starts. And again, if anyone of y'all ever want to get on and want to rock with us for a little bit, I'm going to be putting the link in there, and I'm going to allow people just to. In fact, since we're having people can't call in from overseas or stuff, what I'll do is I'll drop the link in the chat at some point during the show, and then we'll let you come on. You could ask a question, and then we're gonna take you up. We'll do it that way.
Emily
have
says
a-
it's not just an interview; it's a trailer stuff. So we'll pick and choose. But basically, he says there's 12 different talismans with 12 different ideas and stuff. Someone says freaks really outside messy, and then we have a few voicemails. Tony, whenever you're ready. Our first one is from the wonderful Anna.
Yes.
Hey, Teflon Don and Phil. You guys know Tony's famous now. He has a whole burger named after him. That's an achievement for sure.
That's right.
Anyway,
I can't wait to. Did you eat it? I know you're on
Of
a
course
fast.
of course I did. Yeah. So people, I have there's
We'll play your rest of your message then.
a local place out here has named a burger after me. I designed the burger myself, and it's called the Teflon Burger, and it's an amazing burger. It is a bacon cheeseburger with extra cheese and French fries on top of in the burger itself. And
Dude,
it's
it looks freaking delicious.
It's amazing burger. It's amazing burger.
It looks.
Of course it is. And listen, once that sells good, I got the Teflon 2.0 already in the work. So, but
Did you have any input on the design of the burger?
I'm the one who made the whole burger.
Oh,
up.
you say? Oh no, you actually got to design the fucking burger and shit.
Oh yeah, I made the burger up. I made it up. That's all me. That's why I put the side. I put broccoli and garlic and oil as a side for it. Because I'm working out right now, so you got to have something healthy in there. So yeah.
So let's listen to Anna.
famous now. He has a whole burger named after him. That's an achievement for sure. Anyway, yeah, love you guys. Yeah, if you ever want me to jump on a Wednesday or something, it'd be fun. I missed being on chats with LMR too, so maybe she'll jump on. That'll be fun. But I do have a question. So you guys notice there's usually only one family at a time. It's like they have that one family house, and once that the first season and the first episode, when that family's basically killed off, it's replaced with another family. It's almost like they have a quota or something on different spaces they have to fill. If you have to have a family, you have to have a certain amount of people at colony house, and maybe it's when the quotient isn't filled is when you see more people come in. So curious what you guys think of that. Why is there only one family at a time? Talk to you guys later. Bye.
Yeah, and that whole thing in general, Tony, about thank you, Anna, so much for calling on it. The whole thing about, do you think there's something with the numbers of people that there has to be a certain number of people in town and people show up when other people disappear? And is there something to what Anna was speaking about, you think?
It does seem like it. It does seem like there is I mean, once that family died, then this car came in, but they expect the other car to come in.
Yeah.
That's why I think the other car wasn't by the people holding him captive. I think the other car, Jade and them, was brought in there by the people that are talking to Sarah.
Right, because you think that Jade is a lot of the responsibility for the situation.
Yes.
So they brought Jade in to sort of
And then
John Connor himself. I wasn't there when you were talking about the whole John Connor situation, but you think this is that they almost sent John himself back, or he's the Kyle Reese kind of situation where they go back and this is maybe a Terminator-like situation where they're trying to bring him back there to stop it from happening in the first place.
Yes, that's what I think. They brought him in there for 100%. I couldn't have said it better myself. And as for the kids, again, you see the kids behind me. If you watch my last video, I put it out there that kids were experimented on during the Holocaust, especially twins, were experimenting on during the Holocaust, and they would do horrific experiments. So I think that we look at these kids behind us, they do look like twins, and they do look like they've been experimented on. So I think that's what's going on here with these kids, that they're being experimented on, and maybe somehow their kids are more adapt to doing something, or more adapt to doing whatever they wanted to do. We don't know. You know what I mean? But that's what I think the kids are, the importance of the kids.
Do you think the kids, I do agree that they're in Tabitha's head, but do you think, is there a retail location for these kids? Do they exist somewhere and they're reaching out to Tabitha for help? Are they in the flesh somewhere, or are they just more the visions of what she's seeing? Do you think they're actually, you know what I'm saying? I guess, do you think these kids exist and they're reaching out to Tabitha for help?
Lady Fairchild says, I have twins. They don't look like twins to me. Listen, there's twins that aren't identical. Right? There are boy and girl twins that aren't identical or look alike. You just got to be born.
Kizzy Cap, Wu-Tang is definitely for the children, though. They love the children.
So I mean, I hear you. You could not think of it. They're putting these two people together and they're having them hold hands like they're one. I don't think they're boyfriend and girlfriend. Right? I don't think that. So when I look at them and you look at the boy's head, it looks like it's wrapped. There's something wrapped on it. Like they cut his head open. These don't look like regular monsters. The other girl that we see in the cage looks like her nose was broken. But she was smiling while she was in the cage and looked at again. Tabitha again is the one seeing that. Every time they show him with Tabitha. They don't show anybody else seeing. It's always with Tabitha. And it says when those kids were tortured, one of the ladies said that she was locked in a wooden cage. And then we see this girl in underground have wooden bars that she was being held captive in. So I do think it's an experiment. And I'm not saying they're Nazis or nothing like that, but I'm saying the fact that back then they did experiments on people that they held captive. This could be the same thing going on here, that there's been experimented on, and everyone else is and everyone in it is in on the experiment.
Right. I know what you mean. You're more using it as an example of when people were maybe tortured and experimented on like this. Yes. And it wasn't just it was gypsies, and it was anyone with any abnormalities. It was a lot of shit, and that would fit right into it. We've got a bunch more voicemails. Please keep calling on in this show. As much as Tony and I love talking to each other, we enjoy hearing your voice in the show more than anything. Area code 312.
Hi, this is Lainey, and I'm calling from Chicago. And what I was really wondering is, when they had the radio set up and Jake had answered, but Jake's one of the monsters, if they're all underneath in this cavern sleeping during the day, how is he able to communicate with them on the radio?
All right, so is this saying Jake?
I think she did say Jake. I think is Jake the name of the bartender?
So she thinks the bartender's a monster?
Right. Yeah. I think the bartender, if he is part of it, is more like a agent for the monsters. And
he's not one of them. His role is too minor to be anybody. And that's the whole thing. If you look at him in the credits and everything else, the way he's listed too minor. They're not going to have a major person that has that much to do with the show listed as a additional person and not part of the main cast or anything. Tony. I just can't see it being that way. So I understand why people think, and it did kind of sound like his voice, 100%. So I 100% agree with you on that. But I just don't. I think that he's not a major enough character. It would be as if the person that played that Donna punched in the face is now the government. He would make more sense because he's been shown more times.
Yeah.
He's been in more scenes. He's had punched in the face. He said something about Ellis. He's hiding in the bunker with Boyd all the way from the beginning. You would think if there's going to be a plant that's going to be there, they're going to be there from the beginning before the not just show up later on. it would have to be someone who was in the hole with Boyd at that time when he arrived. And the only people that we seen there, I'm not saying he couldn't have been in a different hole, was Donna, the guy Donna punched in the face, Father Khatri, Boyd, and his wife, and Ellis.
He says it's definitely Tom. I guess a question I have is, could who they talk to not be anything to do with the monster side or the creature side, and it was the bartender, and he was just trolling them, like he hijacked them on the radio, and he doesn't.
Did he know that this guy's wife was digging a hole though? Because I don't think he knew that.
That's a very good point, Tony.
How would he know that? Because that's what he says. He could know that whole thing, but how does he know she's digging that hole?
It's the fucking Truman Show.
Yeah, who's seeing it? How are they seeing?
They have cameras everywhere. Do they have fucking cameras everywhere?
You would have to have cameras in the house. It's the only way it works, right?
It's ridiculous.
She's digging the hole in the basement, so it's not like they're gonna see it from the windows, right? There's no basement windows from what I know of. So she's digging the hole in the basement. You either have cameras down there, or you have a fourth dimensional being that could see through anything that in the third dimension. If you're in the fourth dimension, you'd be able to see through the walls of everything. You'd be able to see all the way down into the basement. You'd be able to see that stuff. So that would be the only way to explain how they would know.
Songbird has a good description too. He's a bartender, so he knows everything.
Yeah, that's true. He's a bartender.
He's awesome. We have another message from area code 916.
Hello, this is the voice at 916 again. I was just thinking about kids and why there are so few human kids in Fromville at a time. Children or people with childlike minds tend to accept what they see and try to figure out based upon what they see. Adults will look at something and try to reason it out. So maybe that's one reason why whoever is controlling all this doesn't allow too many children or human children in Fromtown at one time, because maybe they would be able to figure it out. What do you think about that idea?
I think she's on to something here, Tony, in the sense that children can kind of see it and look at it in a different way. They can see this world. Only Ethan can kind of see the boy in white, and Victor can, because he has that childlike way. Is thinking like a child, are children dangerous to this place, maybe?
Yeah, I think that even when you look at Ethan, he's the one who says that. He goes, Victor's drawings are a puzzle. And he goes, no, it's a story. It's a book, it's a story, right?
A story, yep.
It's not a puzzle, it's a story. Kids have a different way of looking at things. And I think that is what it could be. That's what happened. I think, as I said, I think the boy in white was an experiment who escaped. And just like those other kids you see behind me right now. But somehow he was infused with this ability that the weirwood trees have to teleport away, and they can't catch him. And they're trying to catch him.
Say, to answer your question, what edge do kids have over adults? I would say that an ability to look at things in a more creative way without being blocked by reality. And when you're dealing with a situation that might not be based around 100% reality, having kids that can look at it in a more creative way could be an advantage. Could be a way that they could see things that adults will overlook. And there's a lot of that in fairy tales and stuff. Oh, we're here, but adults just don't see us because kids are the only ones that can see us. So there could be a sense that has some effect on the world, in the world, that they could just be a key to a certain extent. Maybe not, but there is a reason, as people in the live chat were saying, there's only really one kid in there at a time. Kids are.
Victor's the only one who realized the trees are moving.
Yep, exactly.
It's the mind of a kid
differently. And yeah, I'd say that would be the only advantage really to having kids in the situation. And we do have one last voicemail right now, which means the lines are open at 716 here. This is
Hello, this is Shorty Womp Womp, the Jersey Princess.
Welcome.
I'm calling because I do not think it's aliens. That's so silly. I think it's purgatory. I think that all of them died in car accidents. They all were in cars. And Jim did say that he heard on a scanner that it was a car accident ahead. I think that they were in that car accident. I also think that Donna could have fell asleep and got in a car accident. Kenny and his father could have had a freak out. They died in a car accident. And then I also think what happened? The bus was in a car accident. I think all these people were in car accidents. I think they died. Most of them or all of them came in a car. So that's all I wanted to say. It's not aliens. That's a yoga reach.
There's a little bit left in the message. We'll play the end of the message in a second.
Yeah, I think that that's not the case. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but again, another thing that points to that not being the case is that everybody that they've shown that's on the main cast has a missing poster of them.
Yep.
Right. Everyone missing. Boyd is missing. His family. Can you find them? Father Khatri, can you help us find him? He's missing. Sarah is missing. Fatima missing. So missing posters would not be put up of all these people if they died in car accidents. So they wouldn't have that. So the fact that everyone's different, everyone's from each of their home states, so they're all gone missing, and their friends and family know they're missing. So I just don't think that that's the case for that reason also.
To that point, Tony, they even made sure that the production themselves released a video that looped all those missing posters together to show that they're missing in their particular reality. But let's play the end of Shorty's message. Thank you so much for calling in, Shorty, who definitely is someone that's been supporting both of us for a long time. It's good to hear her voice on the live chat.
A yoga stretch. All right, have a good day. All right, bye. And Phil, is Weird Al Yankovic really like your dad?
Yes.
All right, bye,
He is. He absolutely is. I met him. I said, Dad, and he looked at me and he said, maybe. And I don't know who my dad is, so it's very possible that Weird Al could have had some fun with my mom. I'm not saying it's impossible, Tony. It's definitely possible.
It definitely is possible, and good for her.
Yeah, I'm not saying my mom knew how to meet people. Area code 717 says Tom took Tabitha to the shed to get the pickaxe. Speaking of those bottles, did you guys notice the soldier's face that attacked Jade? All of that, was that a vision or was that time travel? We talked a little bit about that. You had said there is time travel in the series there. Do you think that was a form of time travel, or is that more him being haunted by those visions to a certain extent? What are some of your takes on that, on the Civil War thing?
I want to talk about it. It's coming in the video, but
I know I keep putting you on the spot for spoiling videos.
Telling you the same thing about this thing.
I know I'm asking you direct questions.
I gave you the bottle,
asshole.
I gave you the bottles thing already. The
Phil,
bottles.
don't keep spoiling videos, you piece of shit.
For African history, they would take these bottles like that and notes and names of people, and they bottle them up, and they're supposed to be able to bottle up evil spirits and hang them in trees. That's where I get that from. But as for I do think it's a vision and everything else when he did it, when he came after him, but he purposely, the soldier was able to see him, chased him down, and then stabbed him. So, and the soldier came after he seen the symbol inside of the tree, and then the tree started dripping blood, and then that's when the soldier came. He didn't come before that. And that was also used to snap him out of what he was seeing, the soldier. It snapped him out of that whole thing. And then he's asked right after that, what did you see? And then he doesn't tell him what he sees. He just leaves.
That makes a lot of sense. Someone says Jim is Phil's dad and Boyd is Tony's dad in YouTube from verse. Yeah, I'll take that. And someone says I'm better looking than Weird Al. I'll take that too. God
there
damn
you go.
I'll take that shit too. But we do have another voicemail and another text. 713 says, have we talked about the newspaper that Victor draws that says Abbeville, South Carolina?
Yes, we actually put that up on the screen, and we did a whole. I did a whole breakdown of that whole thing.
Yep,
of everything. So we put the whole thing right up on screen. We going through Victor's paint pictures. We did that in another video. So you go back and check the Victor's paint drawings live stream. We put that up there and we zoomed in on it and read the whole thing.
Tony, which reminds me, if you haven't already, make sure you go back. I know these live streams are best watching live, but they're also kind of fun to put on in the background while you're doing other stuff and just watch. So make sure you go back and check out some of the older live streams that we've done about From stuff, because we've covered a lot of stuff. I even forget everything we talked about. Tony said that. I kind of remember it. I kind of don't. This is from area code 310, Tony.
Yeah, hey, what's up? This is Justin Time. I'm calling from San Pedro, California. I just wanted to bring up my 2 cents on this. I'm surprised that nobody's going on the offensive here. I mean, if it was me in this situation, after the first night, I'd be like, that's it. We have to find out what these guys are made of. You know, set up a pit trap, you know, like they do in Yellow Jackets. See if one falls in, find out if they can be stopped. Or throw Molotov cocktails from your talisman protected houses. I mean, you gotta do something, see if they burn. I mean, there's a lot of different things you could do, but you gotta go on the offensive. Seems to me like these guys are just okay with it. You know, it's like, oh, we're surviving. I mean, I would not be okay with that. All right. Well, let me know. Thanks. Bye.
Good point, Tony. Do you think that they're being too passive with these?
I mean, we just talked about this. I used the exact word of Molotov cocktail. I told you, you guys stick one up one of these monsters' ass and light them on fire. You got to see what's going on here. It comes down to a point where you can't just be afraid anymore. You got to, and you can't just get by. You know, see, everyone's too passive here. That's why I said maybe someone on that bus, maybe that bootleg Chris Evans is that guy. He rallies people like, listen. It seems like Boyd's holding like a rifle case in his hand in the picture.
Yeah.
So I mean, seen the one guy with the beard that has a rifle in the picture. So maybe they could use that rifle and shoot these things from a distance, or shoot a bottle, you know, a Molotov bottle underneath them, or a bomb when they're walking, and see if they blow up. There's got to be a way to kill these things, and you have to try, or you got to capture them and experiment on them. Something has to happen here. You know what I mean? You just cannot just keep running away from something. So maybe the guy on the bus is that type of guy where he's like, fuck you, I'm gonna kill you motherfuckers. And that's it. I'm done with you. And you got to start going on the offense.
Exactly. Right. If it's like Predators, if it can bleed, we can kill it. Exactly. And I want to send some special love out to our good friend, AK. Hope you're doing all good. Great to see you in the live chat, AK.
100%. Tony, who's going to get that close to the monster? You don't have to get close if you have a rifle. Again, you know what I mean? As I said before, you know what I mean? If you put down a Molotov cocktail on the ground and you have a rifle, you could wait till the fucker walk by it. You could have someone stand close. When they walk by it, you shoot that motherfucker and blow it up and see if you could set them afire. You know, there's all different ways and traps that you can catch these people. Put a snare in a tree and grab it up by its leg and string it upside down and see if that does something. You know what I mean? Why not? You know, there's things you could do. Shoot an arrow at it and see how that works out and everything else. You know, whatever the case is, you could trap it in the box. You know what I mean? With a talisman inside of it so it can't leave that space.
Yeah.
And then start poking it with a stick, or see what happens in the sunlight, why they can't. Because if they're sleeping and you know they're sleeping in the underground in the daytime, go under the ground and kill them when they're asleep.
Dude, seriously. Or gremlins, these motherfuckers. Leave them out in the sun. See if they melt in the sun.
That's right.
You know?
If you know that they're sleeping underground, and now Tabitha knows because Victor told her, I'd go down there in the daylight and kill them when they're sleeping.
Yeah.
And attack them. Go down there and attack them. Or block them in the cause cause avalanches, get them stuck down there.
What do you need, an honorable battle here? No, you stab them when they're sleeping.
There's no doubt about it. I'm not playing with these things. You're lucky I ain't down there. Because if I'd be down there, it'd be a wrap for these creatures, man. We do them like we do them in Queens, flushing, blood gushing, flushing style. It'd be a wrap for these creatures. They wouldn't stand a chance. You don't see no Crips or Bloods down there, right? Because they be doing drive-bys on the what these motherfuckers. You don't see no essays out there, right? On the Mexican cartel people down there, because they be after the ass. You see Scarface down that motherfucker, because Scarface would be getting in the ass. Come on, you want a piece of me? Come on, come on. You need someone like that. You need some type of Scarface type.
Yeah, hold on to my little friend. But Lauren has a good point. Now that you know you have the talismans and you can do what Fatima and Ellis did to protect themselves and what Boyd's did with the tent and shit, you could use those talismans to set a trap and catch one of those motherfuckers and burn them. As Kill Your Ego said, burn them. Keep burning them. Like, try different things. Like,
you got to figure out what takes them out. Whether you know that bulletproof or the bulletproof that stun them. All right, but what if you take a sword? Could you take an axe and chop its head off? Could you take its foot out? What could you do? So I'm saying is you got to figure it out, and that's the only way you figure it out. You got to grab one of these things up. You can't just be cowering in the house and fucking all day. And that's what happens, you know. You're smoking weed in there, and you fucking. This is what happens when you have alcohol, you have food, you have sex, you have everything you need. Like, fuck these things outside. I'm living a pretty good life. Some of these people in there might be living a better life than they were in their real life, because you know it's kind of like you know I worked at one point in Target distribution center, and we used to always say. And the girls said the same thing about the guys. So it went back and forth that if you were a 4 in real life, when you walked through that distribution center door, you became an 8. because the supply was limited. Right? It was limited. So that's the way it could be in Colony House. The supply and demand is limited in there.
I mean, Porn Stash was so ignored that he had to go to one of the monsters.
He had to, because no one even wanted him.
Yeah, no one wanted anyone near Porn Stash. So it's not like everyone gets fun in porn. Oh, we get a long text message, but yeah, not everyone gets fun in Porn Stash. Pinkley said it wasn't just what was going to be the most effective, meaning scary or terrorizing the rest of our characters. It's equally why they look the way is part of the controlling idea of this whole place. Everything is answered. It becomes more overtly obvious why they need to look for what they look the way they looked. It's a little bit like what comes first, the chicken or the egg, which again makes me think that there's more layers here. There's more types of monsters. There's more just wrinkles to everything going on here. And this is a quote from the creator. I would love both of your guys' insight on this one.
Yeah. Can you say it again?
Yes. It says, Pinkley said, it wasn't just what's going on to be the most effective means scaring or terrorizing the rest of our characters. It's equally why they look the way is part of the controlling, why they look that way is part of the controlling idea of this whole place. Everything is answered. It becomes more overtly obvious why they needed to look for why they look the way they looked. Again, it's looking the way they looked. It's a little bit like what comes first, the chicken or the egg.
I think that, you know, the way they look is just to make it seem like they're harmless until they get up on you. You know, they get most people by the element of surprise. You know, whether you want to look at animals in the wild who blend in, you know, lions who blend in with the environment and stuff, in the weeds and stuff. And that's why they're based on those colors, because it's easier for them to get close enough to their prey. And that way they can attack them. Because they walk so slow, it seems like they have to look the way they look so that they look harmless. I mean, it almost got Jim, right? When Jim was there, they were knocking on the RV and like, hey, you guys need some help in there? And he was like, oh, they want to help us. I'm going to open this door. And boy almost choked his ass out.
Yeah.
Boy was like, listen, you ain't opening that dog, man. I'm gonna choke you down, son. You know, that's just what it's gonna be. Just like I said before, if that little girl was my daughter and that grandma was at the window, I would have hit that little girl in the back of the head with a brick.
You got to. At that point in time, you knock that girl out.
You got to take her out. She's got to go. When once you've seen it's about to happen, hit her in the head with a brick, knock her unconscious, and it's done. And that's it. Knock this chick out. You know what I mean?
Another part of the way they look is I wonder if the way they look have anything to do with why they're there. You know, like the milkman. Were they captured in that way in uniform? Or is that just uniforms they pick out to be in that particular situation?
It's hard to tell exactly why they're wearing the 50 outfits that they're wearing.
Yeah, why is that because that's when they became monsters, or is it?
It could be when they became.
That's what I'm thinking.
And that's the outfits that they were in there. And Kyle is saying that they eat the entire innards. I think that's enough. No, remember the blood dripping from Howdy Doody. So that's not true. 100%. We had the blood dripping from the mouth. We do see that. And we're not saying that they could be using the mouth to rip them open. But as for eating the innards, we've seen Kenny's father, or the innards was there. His intestines was still there. So, they're gone, but we don't know that they're eating them. We don't know that they're eating the hearts of the kid. We haven't seen that. They haven't shown that. Usually in every zombie movie, you can go through it. TV show, movie, anytime you deal with creatures or zombies or creatures that are eating people, they show the creatures eat the people. They have never, not one time, showed these creatures eat these people yet.
No, not once.
And that's intentional. If they were really eating them, they would show it. But the fact that they have not showed it means that something else is going on, that they're not just eating these people. You know what I mean?
I definitely agree. This is from area code 312. I'm still hung up on the radio thing because it's never established who is on the other end of the radio. They just said, Jim, your wife shouldn't be digging. So again,
they said, is this Jim?
Is this Jim? Hey,
That's
Jim.
They said, is this Jim? He said, whoa, was this Jim? And like that, you know what I mean? And then it went down. And everything else.
And we also have area code 310 that says, Phil and Tony, what about the food? Why not set up to see where the food comes from? Kenny says he doesn't know where the chickens come from, and so find out. Come on, man. Like, should they be trying to find out where the food comes? And I don't want to spoil too much of the descriptions, but I do think the food is going to be addressed at some point this season. In one of the descriptions.
Shadow Realm.
Yeah, in one of the descriptions, it definitely hints at the food being talked about.
I think that they never say anything about the food. Or, listen, they got what food they got pancakes and stuff and everything else. Could they have some type of flour and then making homemade flour and everything else? We know they have eggs, they have goats, or they have milk. It depends. I don't know what food they're having there. That's the whole thing. They don't show it. All that they say is we have pancakes. Are they making sausage on that plate? I don't think so. You can make if they have fruit, they can be growing their own fruit and everything else like that. But I don't know if they have like boxes of cereal of Chef Boyardee. I don't think they have a bunch. The only thing we've seen in the jars is those damn peaches.
Yep, the peaches. We see the fruit. We haven't seen. Well, they have grains to be able to make pancake mix, because we know that they've made the most complex thing that we've seen food-wise is the pancakes. But that could be made with grains. They could be growing grains of some sort. But everything else comes from chickens and shit that they have and cows. We know that chickens and cows have been mentioned. If food becomes an issue later in this next season, I think we might get into that more, which, without spoiling much, read the episode descriptions at your own will. Yeah. There may or not be something to do with food at some point this season in one of the episode descriptions. So it does seem like it will be addressed more this season.
Yeah, Jesse's saying Victor is really worried about this pizza. That's the only thing he seems to like. I think it's a comfort for him. You know, just like him carrying around his lunchbox. It's a comforting time thing. That's what he has and everything else. But I think that the pizza's going to run out for Victor and everything. So
I think, Jackie, how come the monsters don't kill the chickens? Because to the point we're talking about tonight, I don't think they're eating. I don't think it's because they're feeding. I think it's because of the scare or something to do with the psychological aspect and they're ripping apart or possibly organ harvesting, as we've joked about.
And they said they used to scream and then they stopped.
Yep.
Like once they weren't afraid of the screams anymore, then they stopped. But they said they used to scream, Rah! Make these crazy noises.
It seems like there's some tactical choices going on here, Tony. There's some choices in the way we're going to haunt these people. It's not just animalistic. It's tactical.
Yeah, he says, right, Ryan says the hot chick who killed Porn Stash only had a blood dot. It's like they kill people, but to be eating all the organs, they'd be more blood. Maybe they're teleporting their insides. Listen, I'm telling you, man, that
teleporting the insides, gross.
That I don't know what they're doing with the insides. They're carrying them out. This could be just a harvest of different people with different blood types that they're trying to find something or anything else. It could be a situation.
Yeah, we've been treading on that tonight. We kind of got there with all this discussion, but it very easily could be that.
There's no proof that they're eating these people. We haven't seen it. And again, when we asked the actor who's the Smile Monster, I asked him specifically if they're eating these people.
I don't know.
He said, I'd rather people watch to see what these monsters are actually doing to people. He could have easily said yes, and he didn't say yes. He did not.
Or easily said no.
Yep. He could have said one.
He's like, no. He's like, I just rather that people discover that on screen.
Yes.
So there's something there.
There's something. It's something going on here. And I'm telling you, go back and watch any zombie movie you've ever seen of anyone eating human beings. You always see it. They always show it. Why have they not shown these monsters actually feeding if they're feeding?
They usually cut away from it, right? And then they cut back.
They never show it. They show the after effects.
And we've seen the start of it, like them doing initial attacks, but then they usually cut away as they're all getting on the body and ripping.
But you don't know if they're eating or they're just biting and spitting it out. Or we do know that when Jasmine got the tongue in her mouth, she spit that tongue right out of her mouth.
Do you think we've seen this a couple times in the live chat? A couple people have mentioned this. Jasmine said she didn't ask to be that way. Was she being legit, or is that part of the Porn Stash manipulation?
It's hard to tell. It could be either one. It could be either one. But I think the fact that the thing that Porn Stash, when he touched her and said, "You're warm," and she said, "What did you expect me to be cold?" I think they did that to let you know that they're not vampires.
Did she say that after she was in there?
The house, when she was in the house.
Okay, so she didn't have to say that because
she didn't have to say it because she was already in. And he touched her and he goes, "Wow, you're warm." He goes, "What did you expect me to be cold?" So I think that they said that specifically so that they let you know that they're not vampires, because we know vampires are cold and that they have no blood pumping through their veins, and to let you know that there is blood pumping through these people's veins. There's something going on inside that's making them hot.
And sorry, yeah, I did say gremlin. Sorry about that. Bless. They punished Boyd for leaving Fromland to speeding Boyd's Parkinson.
If Boyd's wife would have stayed alive, I guarantee she would have been the one like, "Yo, we're gonna kill these motherfuckers." Like if Abby was there, Abby would have been like, "Yo, we're gonna kill these motherfuckers. We're gonna take it to these."
Yeah, they needed to get Abby out of the equation because Abby.
They needed to get Abby out quick.
Abby and Boyd together as a team would have been too much. It's like when you and I show up in that town, they're gonna need to kill me real quick. You know, I'm gonna need to die in that first episode.
I'm not gonna let them kill you, Phil. Don't worry about it. I ain't gonna let that happen.
Thank you, Tony. You're my man. But like, you know, they're gonna try to kill one of us because we can't be a team there.
Just like they did the same thing with Jade and Toby.
Yep.
They would have been too smart. They would have been two smart guys bouncing ideas back and forth to each other, and they had to get rid of Toby, and they got rid of Toby.
I'm bongo playing in the woods, and they're killing me real quick. I'm gone that night, first night.
Her name is Abby, and the newspaper is from Abbeville, South Carolina.
Now, just to be fair, just because we do like alternative perspectives here,
it says Justice League, Kenny is going to be the one to kill the first creature. I don't think. All right, let's go through. If someone has to kill the creature, it's got to be Boyd. He's the star of the show. When you have the White Walkers, you didn't have Theon Greyjoy kill one. You had Jon Snow do it, right? Well, you had Sam do it. Sam was the one who killed the first.
But I don't want to spoil the end of Game of Thrones, but something they do choose. But this isn't Game of Thrones. This isn't Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I don't know if they give it to Kenny to kill.
No,
they got to give it to Boyd. I think
at least the capture is Boyd. I agree with you. I think as much as I think this is going to expand into a company sort of situation, Boyd's still the star of the fucking show.
Yeah.
And Emmanuel said, being cold isn't the litmus test to being a vampire. There are many variations of vampires. Ever see The Strain? I don't think it's vampires personally, but yeah, I guess some vampires do have different physiological.
I mean, listen, man, we're gonna go through.
It's not vampire. I don't think it's vampire.
About vampires. Oh, they do this, they do that. Listen, they put that in there for a reason. They wanted you to know that these people aren't dead. They're not the Walking Dead. That they have something inside of them that's heating them, whether it's blood or something else. Again, I think these talismans, these guys can come on the show and they could say that these markings mean something. They might mean something. They say it, I believe it. But this talisman may not just be a piece of rock. It could be some technology hidden inside of the rock. Just like these faraway trees, to me, are teleportation devices, not trees that are teleporting you. That's looking like a fucking tree just to hide it in plain sight.
So we've talked about this a little bit before, Tony. You think everything that appears to be magic-ish in this situation is science in some ways. It's a high technology. The faraway trees are like in The Fly, when Jeff Goldblum made those little portals that can go from place to place. You think they're those kind of things?
Yes, I do believe, and I think because listen, the bottom line, he said, Victor, say, oh, these trees, you get inside this tree and you have no idea where you're gonna go. That's exactly what Victor said, right? There's no idea where you go when you get inside these trees, right? That's what he says. Then he takes a rock and he writes a smiley face on the rock, right? And he places it in the tree, and then he waits, and the thing falls 5 feet from them. He just said, you have no idea where the tree's gonna go, but how did he know it was gonna get dropped right there? He must have knew, because he's standing around waiting for it. So you can't have it both ways. That means that someone either heard him say it and said, let's drop this rock. You see what Victor's trying to do? And they're controlling this thing and they're putting it in there. And he also goes, oh, the trees are temperamental. It's not the trees. It's the people operating the machines who's putting you somewhere that's temperamental, that's dropping you in certain spots. You know what I mean? There's no such. Soldiers say, I think the rock might have been a plot hole. That's how you try to get around it, because there's nothing to say.
There's no excuses for plot holes in 2023-22 television.
No,
Tony, they take too much time in between seasons. I know this one had a good quick turnaround, but for the most part, even a year between seasons of these things, they take too much time to have fucking plot holes at this point. Like we're over fucking plot holes, like let's make everything make sense, like perfectly. And I think that's the biggest thing I'm hoping from this series. And so far, so good.
Yeah. Victor knew that rock was going to drop right there. That's why he drew a smiley face on it, because he wanted to prove to Ethan that this is what that tree did. Period. He knew it. But in this right before he goes, you can go anywhere. But so it just doesn't make sense. He knew it. So whoever's doing that, controlling these trees, controlling these things, heard him say it and knew what he was trying to do and helped him do that. Because
Tony,
that rock should have dropped nowhere near them. It should have just been somewhere else. It should have hit somewhere in the town or wherever. You know what I mean? And this like when Boyd goes into the faraway tree, the guy Boyd White says, "Go into the tree, you'll be safe." How does he know you're gonna be safe? Is the Boyd White controlling where the tree's sending you? Because how do you know that where you were gonna end up, you were gonna end up safe? You know, if Victor goes into the faraway tree, Julie ends up in the spot where Jade was at, and then Victor ends up in a different spot down there with Tabitha. And then the boy in white just happens to show up down there and says, "Hey, wait, Tabitha will be here in a second." So
Tony,
when it comes down to it, it looks like that there is a situation going on there that the boy in white has something to do with the controlling of these trees.
Now, Tony, TL Foreman. I don't know if TL Foreman has talked to John, the creator of the show, and they are meticulous with the writing of the show. Honestly, I'm gonna take everyone for genuine. Like I'll believe anything. So
you tell John to bring his ass on this channel.
Yeah, we want to talk to him. We want to get him on the
bring John on. Tell John he's doing it. If you bring him on here,
or get him in the live chat. Leave us a voice. Give him the voicemail line. We'd love to hear from him. But I'm gonna take you for your word. Go with this one.
I don't understand this comment right here from us from Super Soul.
Which one?
Super
Raggedy Ann would kick a vampire's ass.
The vision, Boyd's wife, and the soldiers kind of rule out science. How is that possible? I understand.
Okay, in the sense that all those things were mystical in someone's mind, so how would it work? But you could still look at a science perspective that it picked people's memories.
I mean, you can give someone a drug that can make them hallucinate stuff like that.
Sodium pentanol.
You're giving people, you know, if this is an experiment, you don't know what was given. The food may be provided by them, but you don't know what's actually in the food, right? If they are providing these people with food, there could be all types of shit in that food. It could be chemicals in that food already to get them to have to eat it, to make them have hallucinations and everything else. Look at the stuff that Jay was drinking. Look at the stuff that Jay was eating at the time and everything else. That could have been spiked with stuff so he can get the visions. So it doesn't seem magical. I don't see any magic about it. Boyd's wife doesn't seem magical. That seemed like an image that was implanted in front of him when he seen that. Easily could be that. It could easily have not been a real image of Boyd's wife. We don't know that that's real, and all the stuff that's happening in front of Jay could be that. I mean, if you look at Spider-Man movie with Mysterio and everything else, right? If you've seen that when he was fighting Mysterio, was it Far Away Home or whatever? This guy was making all type of 3D illusions, and everyone thought they were real because it was so much that the images look so real. So 100%. That could all be technology. We've seen it in everything, other TV shows and stuff. They had monsters attacking whole cities, and everyone believed the city was under attack by monsters, and it was nothing but this illusions in the end, right? Technology illusions, nothing to do with mystical. So it can be that.
I tend to agree with you, Tony. I 100% agree with you. But just to argue the devil's advocate from the chat's perspective, it also does seem like there could be an element of some sort of magical, mystical something. I think what's beautiful about this show is I do tend to agree with Tony that I feel like it's more science, someone fucking with them in some sort of experiment kind of situation. But they've set it up in a way at this point. This is what makes me think that they know what they're doing. They're setting it up in a way that people in the chat that are saying, no, Tony, it's fucking magic. You guys don't get it, blah, blah, blah. You guys are right too. Like there's enough things in this show to leave those breadcrumbs to make that case too. The people that say vampires and fairies and mystic gods of Nordic culture and shit. There's enough shit in there that you can put those dots together. And Tony, that's what makes a great mystery box series. We can all analyze those things. As Songbird says, it's a video game. You can personalize it with your own information. Like, what if they agreed to the game? 100%. There could be, I don't think they agreed to the game, but there could be some element of that. I know Tony does use virtual reality stuff in his gaming, and it gets pretty intense. I don't own one, but I've played one sometimes. And if you expand on that, it can definitely go down some directions. I'm not personally thinking it's that far, but I do think it's possibility. Emmanuel Kyle says they will never call them vampires, just like The Walking Dead will never call them walkers. Excuse me, or zombies. Notice no one in the show ever mentions vampires. That's strange considering their characteristics. I mean, I don't think there's any copyright information in that situation, but yes, The Walking Dead never does refer to them as zombies per se. Some people mention biters or other situations, but in this thing, I think it's more specialized in From. But again, to the point, I think anyone that thinks it might be one of these magical mystery tour kind of situations, I don't think you're wrong. I don't think.
Yeah, I'm not gonna I won't tell you you're wrong. I'm just giving you my perspective. You're saying that because of these things, this is why it looks like it could be witches and everything and magic. 100%.
Convince us.
But this is what makes it look like science too. It can be science, and this is the reason why.
But Tony, don't you want somebody in the live chat to call on in to say something that we both go, yeah, we're wrong. It's this thing. So I think we're excited to hear your perspective.
Oh,
so
yeah, love it.
If you think it's XYZ, we want to know. And I think that's the fun part of this show. Let us know exactly what you guys think and where we're getting it wrong, because that's part of what's going to make watching this show extra fun week to week. And that's why this show lives on the fact, Tony, that it's not a binge drop. I don't think From would be as successful if it came out all in one block. This show needs to be week to week, and I'm excited that it's week to week. Because if this all dropped in one night, it would be forgotten about. Like, we get to talk about this show every episode. Bang, bang, bang. Tony,
fan of these saints in the building, rocking with.
Great to see him. I'm glad we got him on this show. We have another text message from area code 312. Well, if you can't be overweight person and try to escape the portal, I'll tell you that. You can't be an overweight person and try to escape out the portal. I'd hate to be a halfway stuck in a chimney. Yeah, can overweight people use the faraway trees, Tony?
I would hope so. I don't think there's a scale or a height requirement.
Do we have any overweight people in town?
That one nurse who got killed.
Yep.
The nurse was. And the other one who got the glass in her eye.
Yeah. Right? Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, she was messed up too. So yeah. There's a couple of them that were messed up.
It could be a T2 thing. Kill the boy. Are you guys doing the show on Sundays? Yes.
Yeah.
At least Tony will be live on Sunday doing we're not sure exactly what we're doing, whether it's gonna be a live watch.
Yeah, I gotta see exactly how it drops. So if MGM app drops the show before it airs the show on television, then I can't do the pregame show, but I'll definitely be doing a watch along show. Because as soon as it drops, if it's on the app and it drops early, like say 6 a.m. in the morning, I'm gonna watch it 6 a.m. in the morning.
Right, and do a watch along.
Then I'm gonna make my video to put up, and then I'll wait for it to air at 9 o'clock. I won't put the video out until everyone's had a chance to see it, and then I drop the video. But if it airs at 9 o'clock and they drop it on MGM on the app at 9 o'clock, then yeah, I'll be on here to do the pregame show. And we'll do the pregame show hour and a half before and go through everything else like that. And we'll do it all that. But we'll definitely do the watch along so everyone can watch it together and comment in the chat while we're watching it together and watch everything and then the live reaction. And Phil's going to do the after show.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. We're going to try to figure out how the after show situation works, again, depending on when it airs, but I will be doing some content on the channel. I'm trying to get Joe on the show as well for people that check out my content. So we're going to have an after show kind of discussion of some sort. This first week, I might play it easy and see how they're dropping it, and then figure it out from this point on. So we'll see it. The first week might be a little figuring out what the landscape is, and then we'll get into, by the second week, what we're doing here. And I also have to talk a little bit about the final episode of Star Trek Picard, Tony. I don't know if you're a Star Trek Next Generation fan, but you should watch season 3.
I watched it. I seen that the lady was back, and I seen that
everyone's back.
It's his son. I didn't see everyone. I just seen the first one, and he looks a lot. Does he remind you of somebody?
He's got a British accent, dude. He's got a British accent too, because he spent a year.
Who else could it remind you of? I mean, number one.
We don't want to go too far down that road here, but I'll have Tony on to talk about that at some point. Area code 240. Is there a chance that the voices that the girl is hearing are really trying to help? Do you think the voices are trying to help?
Who, Sarah?
She just said the girl, so either Sarah or
Sarah. Yes, I said that a million times. Yes, they're trapped. They're trapped. They're being trapped. That's why I think it's a good possibility that those people that are trapped, this could be Americans, whoever you want to say, human beings doing experiments that figured out this wormhole technology, caught some aliens, bagged them up, got some alien technology, and are holding these people hostage, using them and using human beings as experiments. Our government and other governments have done that to us already? Whether you look at the black people who were infected with syphilis and given a placebo, just so they could see how this works on black people, how this a disease affects them. When you talk about the children, the twins that look like behind us that was in the Nazi camps, that were fraternal. They took some twins and they sewed their heads together. They would kill one twin. If one twin died, they killed the other one on purpose. And they go out there and they ran experiments on them, trying to figure things out, put them up in airplanes to see how long they can survive in different atmospheres. Human beings have experimented on human beings since the beginning of time. So listen, the whole Roswell thing is that they found alien aircraft. If you look at a lot of the technological jumps that we have on this planet, we went from the Wright brothers making a first paper mache airplane for like 100 years making a jet. You know what I mean? And the Nazis had jet propelled stuff before we did, and there was always rumor that they found the alien aircraft. And people will tell you that Kevlar. And the convention of that could have been an alien found by alien. Microchips could have been something that they found on alien ship and everything else. So it's all possible that this could be a situation like that, and that they're running these experiments. And again, you hear him say in the trailer, Jim says, what if this is a game? What if the point is seeing people pushed to their breaking point? What if that's the point? And they're doing some type of experiments. So it could be a situation like that. I 100% could see it be going down like that without a shadow of a doubt.
TL Foreman says, guys, once I get my time worked out with Griffin and Pinker, I will ask them about some of your theories, and great theories. Definitely do, and definitely ask them if they'd like to come on.
Yeah, that's when they want to come
on. This is a message from 310. What do you guys think about hanging the talismans in one of the trucks and then going Grand Theft Auto on the aliens, running them over and seeing what's inside?
You got a bus.
You got to use that fucking bus like
a bus. Run them bastards over with the bus. Why not?
Like monster truck style, like Bigfoot and Gravedigger.
Why not attach something to the front of it, like a plow or something, and run these motherfuckers down? I'm with it. With it. If they can't get into the bus because of the talisman, run them down. Pin them down. I'm sure they can't lift the bus. Pin them down underneath it and see what happens.
That's great. This is from Super in the live chat, Super Sadiq from the chat. Do you guys think you would have found a way around the tree, or is it a foolproof trap? Meaning like the tree when it's blocked off when we're driving there. Yeah. Like you know,
no one. The way you see it is that
you're stuck in the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, once you see it, it's already over.
Yeah, you're
I
done.
don't think that. I think even if you passed it, it would still be the same thing. I think once you see it, it's done.
It's like once you see Freddy in your dream, you're already gone.
There's only one thing that explains how all people, and they say it in the show, and Jade says it. When Kenny shows him all the map and said all these people came from different areas, but all ended up in one spot, and he says that's impossible. The only way it's possible is if there's some type of wormhole.
Yeah,
that they got. That's it. There's no other way possible that everyone can come from a different place and wind up in the same place.
Yeah.
The only way to do that is if it's some type of wormhole technology
or portal technology,
and they went through it. That's it. That's the only thing.
I mean, Tony, we've already seen it with the faraway trees. So it's using that faraway tree technology somehow, or magic for the magic people, somehow using that to get the people in the situation. The only other description, just to counter your point, it's wormholes, portals, or magic. I would say it's those three. We can make a fucking poll in the live chat right now for our 100+ people that are still watching at almost 2.5 hours. We love you, all of you. It's one of those three things. Ultimately, those are the only other two things I would challenge you on. That it could be magic or some sort of portal in the set. But portal and wormholes are essentially we're saying the same thing. So I guess the only other side is what people and some of the people in the live chat. I tend to, again, agree with you that I think it's portal wormhole situation. But portal would say that it's man-made or someone made it. A wormhole is more of a natural occurrence, I guess.
You could make a wormhole.
You could
make one too. At one point to end here, and one point to end there. Emmanuel says, "Trust me, they already tried running them over. Remember, they have years of history before the show starts." So I have to shoot that one down, Emmanuel. They may not have tried because they only found the talisman when Boyd got there. Before that, they were just being sacrificed and killed indiscriminately. They were hiding. They were scared to death, and they were out of there. It was Boyd who found the talisman. So they were just scared, just trying to survive until the nightfall, and then hoping to survive. The creatures didn't find them during the night. So I don't think that we can just say that they tried that. We don't know that they tried that.
Tony, do you think there's significance to the fact that the talisman showed up when Boyd showed up, or was he just the only capable one that could find
the only one that seemed like he was bound down enough to go out there in the forest and look? Everyone was scared to death.
Is it as simple as that, or did the talismans get released because Boyd was there? Because he's the only one that can do what needs to be done with the talisman. I don't know. It's just a question. That makes me wonder. No one else that ever was there was capable enough to be able to go out and find these things. Boyd is the first one. I mean,
that's what we have to go with. We have no choice but to go with that. Boyd was the one who rallied these people together. He's the one who got everyone to take their stuff and put it inside the diner and ration it out. He's the one who found the goats. He found the eggs. He found the chickens. He's the one who found the talismans. He's the one who did it.
That, Luna, we appreciate both. You support both of our channels, channel member on both of our channels. We unbelievably love you, Luna. Let's build up this channel so Phil and Tony can make a reservation at Colony House as extras. We're so about that.
Listen, you get me to 100,000 subscribers, I guarantee I can get on that set. I guarantee it. I can get on that.
And if Tony's there, I'm his.
I'm there. Phil's there.
I'm his executive assistant. I'll pay for my own.
That would be the deal. That we're going to go there and interview.
I'm your executive assistant all the way.
That's the way it would be. But give me 100,000 subscribers, man. Promote this stuff on the Facebook group and groups and everything
and
else.
I have to send special love. I've been seeing it from afar, and I like to say things so Tony doesn't have to, but whatever. The From community, you guys have been amazing. Thank you for the support coming from other communities of other shows and stuff. the interaction and the back and forth is amazing. It's going to be a really fun season. I can't wait to talk about all these shows, and I appreciate the support you showed Tony and show both of us in what we're doing. But yeah, enough of that. Area code 310. I think that the people who are brought there here are on an Alien TV show. Aliens are betting on who is this Alien Running Man. I was just calling you.
I'm
Alien Running Man, Tony.
I'm not saying it's not. It could be a, it could be that. I'm not saying it's Alien. It could be.
It could be Alien Running Man, right? Right, Tony?
I know, TV show. That would be crazy if it was a TV show. That would be something that no one would ever think that it was an Alien TV show.
Thank you, Big Daddy. You're the best.
Could be like a gladiator pit for aliens or something.
I would love that. No, we love you guys too. You guys are awesome in the live chat. They've been dropping clues that Kenny, Big Daddy, he said this, and Tony was talking about this earlier. Kenny losing his mind. Do you legitimately think that's a possibility this season that Kenny might go down?
Yeah, I guess maybe he wasn't here when we talked about that, and I've already said that Kenny seems like he's a couple of things away from snapping, and Boyd may have to kill him because listen. I said, this is how you do it. And I tell you how you break Kenny down. First, this girl that he wanted is gone. She's out the picture. She left with someone else. Again, if Kenny finds out who killed his father, that this chick was responsible, those two things, you take away his mom on top of that, you kill her off, that's it. Kenny's going to lose his mind.
Yep, it's done.
He may try to kill Sarah, and Boyd may be forced to kill him so that Sarah doesn't die. It could be a situation like we said that earlier in the stream.
Not to mention, just to add to it too as well, not to mention that if he has to deal with his girl's girl being around, it's going to be another layer of pressure on poor old Kenny.
Yeah, Kenny could break bad. There's no doubt about it. Kenny might break bad. It's a good possibility that we see that side of him. Because they played him up to be so innocent so far that, high waters and everything else and all that. Like, oh, Kenny, go lucky. He's such a nice guy. No, this would be the guy to break bad.
Yep.
Be that situation.
And as I was saying earlier, they've definitely hinted at it. People that are saying the Weird Al thing, someone sent me a message, show the Weird Al picture. I don't think I have it on this computer. If I'll make sure I get it for next stream with Tony, and I will share the
TL forum and say, I want to respond to some of these theories. Listen, the call-in number is 781-990-8509.
Yeah, no, we're still
781-990-8509. That's the call-in number. You respond to anyone you want.
I was going to say we're both having a good time. We're not going anywhere. We're probably ending pretty soon, but still.
Yeah, soon. We'll keep it going for a little bit longer, but we got to get off. Probably 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Yeah, we got about 15-20 minutes. So now's the time. If you've been waiting all night to get your call or your text in, now's the time. Get it on in right now. Stick it in there. I want to respond to some of these theories, but we'll be on every week. Every Wednesday until the season's over, talking about this show, and one or both of us will be on Sundays as well. So at least Sundays and Wednesdays, make sure you check out Tony's channel. Everyone, make sure you subscribe to Tony's channel and mine as well, but make sure you subscribe to Tony's channel for all the From coverage.
Yeah, that is a great point. Emily puts out there. She said, but remember when Christy told Kenny that if he feels upset, he needs to tell her, foreshadowing. 100%. It could be a foreshadowing that Kenny's going to lose his mind, because that was what happened, right? The person killed themselves, and she didn't want that to happen to Kenny. Like, if you have anything going there, but yes, you're 100% correct. It could be.
And Tony, I think both of us, not both of us, I can't speak for you, but I think we're going to see a lot of, I'm not going to say repetition from season 1, but I think they're going to think that they have a lot of new viewers and people that are coming in. So we're going to see some parallels to season 1 at some parts of season 2. So we need to see someone lose their mind like Boyd's wife did. I'm not saying it's going to be Kenny, but we've seen a lot of ways that people have let monsters in or have been corrupted. We've only seen Abby go in that direction. I do think, and I don't know if you agree, Tony, that we're going to see somebody else go down that road, whether it's Kenny or somebody else. Someone else is going to be haunted by those voices and cause some problems.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. So they're going to be able to get in one of these people's minds, even if it's in one of the newcomers, and toy with them like they've done other people in there. And stuff.
Jackie says, but you're saying it's going to be Kenny. I think what we're saying, or what I'm saying, and Tony can speak for himself as well. I think Kenny would be one of the most effective characters to pull that with. And we've seen hints at it so far. So it would feel the strongest if a good guy that everyone thinks is this good dude, Tony, ends up being bad. If you turned, again, I know I'm like happy or I'm an asshole, but like, I come off happy, smiley. You turn me shitty, like evil, it's going to go stronger. That's why if I say one asshole thing, just one, everyone's like, oh my God, Phil, that's horrible. Because most times they're like, yeah, whatever. You know me, really. You know I'm a fucking asshole. But like in reality, but it's the same thing with Kenny. If Kenny goes bad a little bit, it's going to seem really strong. So that's why I think both of us are kind of saying he's a strong choice for that. Same with Fatima being the mole. She's so good that if she ended up being bad, it would be such a strong hit.
Well, you've seen her lose her mind in the trailer where she's looking at the monsters and screaming. Yep. You never see Fatima doing that before, but you see her doing that. Like she can't take this shit anymore. Like it's eating her up. Something's going on with her. You know what I mean? So it's definitely a situation like that. And again, yes, Kenny is the ideal person because they set him up as such a good guy to do something like that, to lose his butt.
Yeah, exactly. It makes the WCW heel turn all that much better. Here we go. We love taking a break from talking. Believe it or not, I know I talk a lot. Yeah, but area code 914.
Hey guys, this is 914. I'm calling from Yonkers.
Wait, you can't just say this is 914. You gotta say your name. What is that?
She's 914. Maybe that's her name.
Is the name in the chat 914?
Tony, don't hate on her.
Maybe we know who we're talking to here.
Maybe her name is 914. Maybe her parents named her 914.
All right, 914.
Hey guys, this is 914. I'm calling.
She didn't want to tell us her name.
She didn't.
Specifically was like, I don't want to give my fucking name. Fuck you guys.
You're gonna get the name. It's in the chat though. You're in the chat. You got 914 in the chat. All right, let's
914 pop it. Phil, come through dressing like the Crow. One day I will. One day I'll come through dressing like the Crow.
From Yonkers, and I'm calling to defend my second favorite character after Boyd, and that is Jade. I've heard you guys say that you don't think Jade is a good person, and I have to disagree. Do I think he's an asshole? Yes. However, he is one of those assholes who does have a kind heart.
This is an amazing call, by the way.
But it's just hidden under the assholeness. To me, Jade proved that he was a good person when he sat with Kenny's mom and prayed with her and gave her that beautiful advice. And he also showed that he was a good person when he was sitting with Kenny in the diner when he thought that he was in an escape room. And he poured himself a cup of coffee and he poured Kenny a cup of coffee. To me, it's just the little things on top of the cute cat shirt that they had him wear. I just think Jade is a good person and I have to defend him. I may be the only one who thinks this, but I'm standing by what I feel. I hope you guys have a good night, and I cannot wait until Sunday. Bye.
All right, so no, I've never said anything bad about Jade. When did you?
No. I mean, I think you did say that you think Jade might be responsible for this, but I think you said in a way he's Miles Dyson from T2.
Yes,
he's not responsible in the way that he's actively a bad person. He's just his genius somehow, in your perspective, led. And again, I'm speaking for Tony's theories here, thinking that I understand them, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. That you think that Jade indirectly led to this, not
indirectly by selling the algorithm to that company. That eventually, yeah, that eventually turned into what they used to build the technology to get to this wormhole thing and do all this thing and everything else. So I believe that's why he was brought there and everything else to figure this out and all that. Yeah, that's what I think happened. Now, as for him being an asshole,
he's
listen, there's no doubt that he's an asshole, but
he's a funny asshole. Yeah,
just because you pray with someone once and you make some tea one time, that doesn't make you a good person. Two good acts doesn't, as Stas Baratheon would say, a good act doesn't wash away the bad, right? You can do something good, but that doesn't take away the bad that you've done. So no, he's an asshole. He breaks in people's houses. When he just kicks in the door, he does this. He says what he wants in front of people's children. He does everything. He's a straight asshole. I don't think he's a bad person, but he's an asshole.
And more importantly, some of the best television characters are assholes. Tony Soprano, Walter White, they're both assholes. And Jade, I'm not saying he's those two characters. He's more Walter than any. I'm not saying he's exactly like Walter White, but he has a little Walter in him, a little bit of that asshole Walter. I know better than you. Elite, my brain is smarter than everyone else in the room kind of situation. He's not like Walter in any way, other than they're both egotists with their intelligence. But he is. Jade, I think, is part of his charm is him being an asshole. So are we roasting Phil?
I've said that many times that Jay's my favorite character of the show. I've said that. That's why I do them. If you look at the most videos I've done them on Jay. So I don't know why you come on in. I don't know what I said. I didn't say anything about that.
Either way, I think 914 should call in again just because I enjoyed her call so much.
One second. Let me just get this right here because
thank you, Big Daddy, for mentioning Sawyer.
Emmanuel Kyle is saying, "Is it Jay's technology of aliens?" I've said it. I'll say it again. All right. Just so please,
he's an asshole. But
I want you to understand what I'm saying here. I believe that the algorithm that Jade came up with leads to human beings being able to create a wormhole, and I believe it's that wormhole that either took aliens in and they captured the aliens and they're experimenting, and this is from their technology, or the aliens took over from the humans and they're the ones doing it. But in the end, it was Jay's technology that led to the human alien connection and contact. That's what I believe.
Very interesting. Big Daddy says Sawyer's. I think Sawyer and Jade is a very good one-for-one comparison in the sense of their characters' attitudes, and Sawyer is from Lost. 240 Tony says, if the talismans work for a tent, then they could work for a man-made box. Time to start walking through the woods carrying a cardboard box. All jokes aside, why don't they start...
He's gonna walk around fucking box. When they get close, you just sit down.
Yeah, just
walk a little bit and then sit down.
You're like Snake from
it's when Metal Gear Solid.
Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, thank you, Tony. Snake from Metal Gear Solid. Yeah,
that's what's going on. Listen, theoretically, you're right. 100%. It should work for that. It should work. It should work for a card. You should be able to walk around a cardboard box. And that's it. Now, if the wind blows that shit over, you're fucked.
Yeah.
But you're 100%. You can pull the Silent Snake.
Yeah, you need to get like a metal box. It says, all jokes aside, why don't they start chopping down the trees? Would you start chopping down the trees?
The faraway trees?
Not the faraway trees, like all the other trees, I guess.
They don't know about the faraway trees. No one knows about that but Victor. Now Boyd, Julie, and Tap, not even Tapper. That's it. And Ethan.
It's amazing to me. It's amazing to me before everything happened how little people knew what was going on. And then when Boyd showed up, like everything sort of started happening.
914. Here we go. That's the voice of 914.
Who's the voice of 914? Oh, there we go. Great call, and I hope you get to call in again in the future.
Yes, please call in again. Please do. All right, we got 5 minutes, and we're out of here. Give me 5. You got 5 minutes. Anything you want to say before we get up out of here? Let us know, and we'll definitely here again. We'll be here. Maybe I'll do another stream Saturday. and Sunday. You know, it all depends. Let me see. Definitely, I'll do it Sunday, but it all depends on what's going on in my life during those other days and stuff. You know.
Absolutely. No 914. You are Miss 914 from now on. The trees go on forever. We've seen the view from the window. And it's like finding our way through that. Could taking down the trees find a way out? I don't know. I don't particularly think so. I think it's sort of an endless loop in some ways, so there's no way out.
It could be. Well, it seemed like Boyd was getting close, and they sent his ass back.
Yeah, no, totally.
So it did seem like he made it somewhere, and he went too far, and it's like it's time to come back. And it seems like every time they do something like that, it seems like it starts to flood or something, some type of rainstorm. Or listen, my last video, I'm telling you, these guys they got the ability to control the weather. They got the electricity from the air. That's how they do conducting everything. It seems like that's just exactly what's going on here. This is all futuristic stuff that we just don't have any idea what's going on and stuff. But you know, listen. This season may not answer all the questions, but some of them might be answered, and we'll see. Listen, if it's not aliens or something like that, the show writers will shut that down soon.
No, I agree.
They will shut it down because they're shutting down theories, and they'll do something that'll make you know it's not the alien.
And I think it's going to be clear after a few episodes this season the direction that they're going. Area code 703 asks, hey guys, TL Foreman here. Love both of your channels. Great from discussion and theories. I'm a journalist and have been lucky enough to see the first 5 episodes. I can say which two, but 2 of the theories I've heard tonight are pretty close to what's coming up. I can definitely call in on one of the upcoming shows. Very interesting right there.
Well, I think, is he talking about mine? Which one's he talking about?
I don't know. He doesn't want to let it on who or what got anything correct tonight, but said, I'm a journalist and I've been lucky enough to see the first 5 episodes. I can't say which 2, but 2 of the theories I've heard tonight are pretty close to what's coming up next. So if we're to take this person on the level, which tonight we're going on the level, fuck it. We're gonna say that TL Foreman is 100% correct and not trolling us tonight. We're gonna say you're on the level tonight. And so 2 of the theories that we've talked about tonight are right. That's a good little tease because we don't
know who said it. There's a lot of theories being pushed out there. Some people got the simulation theory, a lot of the alien stuff, everything I put out there, the Kenny situation. There's a lot of things out there. So we'll see who's right and who's wrong.
We won't take too much weight, but we'll take you for your word for tonight. Area code 240 says, in the first episode, one of the monsters and Katie acted like they knew each other. Or am I wrong? If I'm part of the colony house, all of them would have died. If I'm part of the colony house, all of them would have died already. In the first episode, one of the monsters and Katie acted like they knew each other. I'm not sure I remember that.
The actress and Katie?
Katie, yeah. It said in the first episode, one of the monsters and Katie acted like they knew each other.
No, they didn't. So what happened was that the monster says, don't you remember me? Then she stops and looks at him, then she gets dragged in.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So
they didn't ask. She didn't high-five the motherfucker. She was just that the monster knew her name. But they know everything about everybody's name there. Again, that easily can be some technology-based situation that they have information. They doxed her, and they know her name, and they know everything else and all that. That's easily figured out and everything. So that doesn't take magic for them to figure that out. That could easily be found out and stuff.
Kill Your Ego says, the first 5 episodes are going to let us know what this show's all about. I call bullshit. We will see when hopefully we get a call in from this episode from this friend of ours as well at some point in time.
No doubt about it. All right, people, we're out of here. Thank you for rocking with us. We will see you later. Again, subscribe to the channel. I'm doing a giveaway.
Oh yeah, I saw
I'm
that.
working on it right now. So it's gonna be to someone who's out here live in the chat. You gotta be subscribed, be live in the chat. I'm gonna do a few. I'm not just gonna do one pair. It's gonna be a pair of sneakers. This person's going to airbrush whatever you want from on the sneakers for you, and you could have it with talismans on the side of it.
Dude,
you can have it. You got with the title on the side of it and everything else. It's going to be a sneaker giveaway. We're going to start giving away when the season starts. We'll figure it out. Maybe every 1,000 subscribers I gain during this season, we'll come on a live stream and we'll give away a pair of sneakers. So you can keep track of my subscriber count, and not 10,000, every 1,000 I gain, I'm going to give away a pair of these sneakers to one of y'all. And then you just gotta contact. I'll put you in contact with the person.
And these are custom. People
these are gonna be custom sneakers, one of a kind, whatever you want on there that deals with from. You can put on there. You have your size, and we'll ship them right to you and everything, and I'll pay for them and get them out there to you.
Wow.
You know, this saying thank you for everybody, for rocking with us. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, man. You come to these live streams because that's where I'm gonna. It'll be a trivia question that I'll do in a live stream, and the first person to get it right will be the one.
Ooh, I love some trivia.
And that's what it'll be. All right, but make sure you start. So every 1,000 subscribers I gain right when the season starts. So you can see my subscriber count, and we'll take it right from wherever that is right now. TL Foreman just subscribe. Thank you so much for subscribing to the channel. Subscribe to the channel so you can be because when I do the winner, I'm going to tell you straight up. I've done giveaways before, Lady in the Dime giveaway. We used to do it all the time. Yes, LMR. I do check and see if you are subscribed. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, it will go to the next person and everything else like that. And all that good stuff and all that. So yeah, so make sure you're subscribed. Right now we're at 67,000 subscribers.
Oh, thank you, Emily.
But once it starts and everything else, once season starts from episode 1, that's when it goes up. So we'll see where we're at. If we're at 68 before the season starts, then we'll start at 68. But if not, then it'll be 67,000. And we hit 68,000, we'll give away a pair of sneakers, custom made, signed up for you right there. Right? That's the way the Don does for you. Right? That's what I'm here for. Show me some love, I'll show you some love back. So that's the way it goes. All right, people. I will see y'all later. If you like the way I do this, please thumbs up the spread this across the realm, and of course subscribe. And until next time, you know who it is. Peace and stay